You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1911 1911 Chapter 425, Join the Heaven Hunting Pavilion 5. Try locating the elders. F***CK. I already said that it would consume energy. Xian Jia was speechless. At this moment, he glanced at the other elders in the hall. Seeing that no one was paying attention to him, he secretly entered some energy into the atlas. Soon, a light flashed. He had located it. A line of words appeared in front of his eyes. Soon, he communicated with Su Yu. You are in the Sky Hunting Pavilion branch of the ancient city of Xinghong. Your location is so accurate. At this moment, Su Yu's mask was indeed glowing slightly. He was a little surprised and quickly left the door. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared without a trace. Elder, try locating me again. Su Yu. Xian Jia was a little depressed. I only explained so much to you because of your amazing talent. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, I could completely ignore you. Don't push your luck. I'm about to die, where did my talent come from? Su Yu quickly said, alright, it's fine if you don't locate me, but fortunately, I can locate myself and I can feel it. Of course, I can't rule out the possibility that this elder lied to me and deliberately lied to me with false information. This white light was also controlled by him. You have a lot of resources, so you won't die so quickly. If you really die, maybe we can help you collect your corpse. This is also a good thing. If I die, I'll become a dead spirit. You want to collect my corpse? You're lying. Xian Jia was once again at a loss for words. There was no way to refute this. Forget it, communicating with Su Yu was really tiring. This fellow did not have much respect for him. Under normal circumstances, anyone who was surrounded and killed by some unrivaled experts would naturally have less respect for the sun and moon. Moreover, this fellow was extremely audacious. He didn't have the guts to set up such a huge scam. The black armor cut off the connection. Su Yu was speechless. He actually ignored me. I really have a lot of curiosity towards the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. For example, I didn't even ask about the Heaven Hunting list. Is this elder too impatient? I only asked a few questions. And he didn't reply to me. Speaking of which, he now knew the use of the Heaven Hunting map and mask. The mask was used to contact his immediate superior and subordinate, while the Heaven Hunting map was used to contact the intelligence officer of the Huang department who was in charge of the headquarters. Do I have to break this mask? Su Yu took off the mask. In fact, he was a little reluctant to part with it. This thing seemed to be quite useful. He could communicate with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion at any time, and there was a 40% discount when buying things. In addition, it also had the effect of restraining one's breath, and it was an Earth soldier. There was a small part of it that he was reluctant to part with. Also, who are the 10 black-masked men under my command? Su Yu quickly took out the atlas and looked it up. There was one on the first page. Xianjiu, Black 01. This title. No one else. With one look, it was obvious that this was the black-masked man that belonged to Xianjiu. The number one under Xianjiu among the black-masked men. Su Yu was helpless. He looked at the information again. The information on it was quite simple. The 2685th Xianjiu, Black 01, real name, Lol Dobaja, Earth Fire Demon, Lingyun Realm. Earth Fire Demon. Demon, my enemy. I actually have a demon under me. That's not important. What's important is, Su Yu was thinking, what's the code name of the colored mask that Black Mask controls? Xian 9, Black 01, Color 02. Also according to the number. Then, the half or gray mask that Black Mask controls would have to be called Xian 9, Black 01, color 01, gray 01. Damn. Suyu thought about it a lot and felt that this way, Black Mask, Color Mask, and the others would not register their names when they went out. They would not be able to register. It was too long. However, this way, it was clear, and the hierarchy was clear. With one look, he knew who the other party was and who his superior was. Perhaps, he would have to add the Black Armored by Xianjiu to prove that he was a subordinate of the Black Armored Elder. Suyu thought in a carefree manner. He was still very interested in the entire system of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. He was mainly interested in their wealth. They were too rich. They had everything they wanted. After becoming an elder, he could enter the headquarters, but the headquarters was invincible. Perhaps he would make a trip there sooner or later. He did not know if all the treasures were in the headquarters, or if there were some in the branches, but the ancient city of Xinghong had all been taken away. Getting Xianjiu's mask was an unexpected gain. Suyu quickly suppressed this matter and didn't think about it for the time being. As for the location, he would have to wait and see. He was afraid that the other party could silently locate him. Otherwise, his identity would be pretty good. Just as Suyu was thinking, the atlas vibrated. He quickly picked up the Heaven Hunting Atlas, and a line of words appeared on it. Xianjiu, are you still in ancient city of Xinghong? This was a question from the Huang tribe. Suyu quickly replied, yes. The city lord of ancient city of Xinghong, Black Devil, has released a message requesting for help. He hopes that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion will provide him with a large amount of Heaven Yuan Qi. Does the branch pavilion still have Heaven Yuan Qi in reserve? If so, send it to the city lord's mansion immediately. Suyu was about to say that there was no more, but he was stunned. Where should he send it to? Send it to the city lord's mansion. F***CK. F***CK. Does this mean that I can enter the city lord's mansion? Black Demon is very powerful. I'm worried that he will attack me. Suyu replied. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion's Yellow Division quickly replied, no, he is seriously injured. You are the only member of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion in the city. Through you, he can still obtain some help. If he kills you, he will only be waiting for death. Suyu's eyes flickered. Is that so? The identity of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion seemed to be useful all of a sudden. I was worrying about when Black Devil would come out of seclusion and when he would fight with me for control of the ancient city. This is great, I can go check out the situation now. It's just that it's a little dangerous. How much does he need? 100 portions of Heaven Yuan Qi. The other side quickly replied and asked again, is there any storage in the branch pavilion? No, but I have some private storage. Then according to the rules, whatever Black Devil pays for this transaction will be yours. You will hand in 10% of it as a handling fee. Understood. Suyu understood. So it could be done this way. As a platform, it was normal for the Heaven Hunting Pavilion to take 10% of the handling fee. After all, they needed to contact customers and send orders to Suyu, they needed to communicate across an infinite distance, taking 10% was not a lot. After all, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion sold things at a very high price. Black Devil must have paid a high price. Suyu smiled. Black Devil, I'm coming. This guy seemed to be seriously injured. Otherwise, he would not have opened the city gate to let the Heaven Hunting Pavilion people in. The more powerful one was, the more cautious he would be. Under the condition of being injured, he would never let outsiders get close to him. But now, there was no other way. Very good, I am Xianjiu. Suyu, who was still hesitating earlier, had made up his mind. I am Xianjiu. Not bad. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1912. 1912 Chapter 426 Black Devil's Fall 1. The heaven hunting pavilion had given him a mission so quickly. Suyu felt that this identity could still be used. 100 portions of heaven vitality. Heaven vitality. I don't have much left. I still need to prepare. Soon, Suyu wrote on the heaven hunting atlas, "Let Black Devil wait for a moment. I need to avoid the sun and moon undead. There are still sun and moon undead in the city." Okay. Xianjiu, send it over as soon as possible. Also, report the resource list of the branch as soon as possible. We still need to check it with Bai Yi. Okay. Suyu roughly understood the operation mode of the heaven hunting pavilion. It seemed that he still had to report the inventory. Thinking of this, Suyu contacted Xianjia through the mask again. "Elder, the inventory is gone. If it was robbed, do I need to take responsibility?" Xianjia was chatting with the other elders and was speechless. He quickly said, "Of course you have to take responsibility. If the inventory is lost and there is evidence to prove who did it, you have to bear 10% of the responsibility. If there is no evidence, you have to bear 100% of the responsibility and pay full compensation." "Oh, our inventory was robbed by Suyu. I have evidence and videos. Then I don't have any inventory. Pay 10%, right?" Xianjia was stunned. "Suyu stole it. F***ck, aren't you Suyu?" "Oh, I understand. This kid is trying to steal from himself. He's obviously trying to steal from me." Suyu robbed Xianjiu. What does that have to do with Xianjiu? Is that what he meant? You don't have much inventory right now. Suyu instantly understood. I understand now. If we have too much inventory, we can rob once. If we have too little inventory, robbing once isn't worth it. After all, if we rob too many times, everyone will suspect us and our identities might be exposed. However, once was considered an accident. After all, everyone knew that Suyu was in the city. I understand now. Suyu sighed. What a good person. This black armor elder was really a good person. He had taught him another trick. From this, it could be seen that the black armor elder was a good person. He knew that for the sake of his subordinates, this superior was still all right. Black armor didn't continue talking about this. He quickly said, "Xianjiu, I'm warning you. The Black Division has an organization that directly reports to the department heads. As you know, the Colored Word Department is an organization that directly reports to the department heads. It also has the responsibility to monitor them. The Black Division's subordinates might be monitored by the Colored Word Department. Don't do anything rash." The 4 department heads all had organizations that directly reported to them. The Colored Character Department belonged to the Xian Department. Suyu understood. So that was the case. I told you that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion had too much freedom and authority. It turned out that there was someone who could manage it. Ignoring the Xian Armored Elder, Suyu quickly entered the Heaven Hunting branch. He picked up the catalog that Xianjiu had given him and checked the inventory. There were not many in the inventory. There were quite a number of essence blood and yuan qi liquids. There were also some heaven yuan fruits. There were also very few of them. There were also some weapons. There were quite a few Xian weapons, but there was actually one earth weapon. It was said that the inventory was small, but it was only relative. Strictly speaking, it was quite a lot. As for the warehouse, it was in the Heaven Hunting Pavilion branch. Every branch had a restriction set up by the sun and moon. It was specially used as a warehouse, and it was controlled by the branch head. It was Suyu. Suyu did not look at it anymore. He quickly began to switch cultivation techniques to extract heaven essence qi. The death qi in his body could be extracted from heaven essence qi, right? Speaking of which, could it be that the heaven's origin qi was mixed with the death qi as well? Very quickly, Suyu tried to extract it. It was all right. The cultivation technique worked smoothly, and it was still possible to extract it. It was not entangled by the death chi either, because when the death chi touched the heaven's origin chi, it melted away. This made Su Yu's thoughts of using the death chi to poison Black Devil dissipate. He had almost forgotten about this. The two of them were enemies. Black Devil needs heaven's origin chi, which means that the aura of death is about to be unable to be suppressed. Otherwise, he is only at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon, so there is no need for him to call for help from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Looks like his injuries last time were really not light. Su Yu's mind flickered with thoughts. Black Devil was now his greatest enemy, so it was not considered a personal grudge. It was just a struggle for power. Su Yu wanted to control the ancient city, but he was always worried that Black Devil would find out and kill him. Once Black Devil came out of seclusion and found out that the ancient city was closed and controlled by Su Yu, he would probably kill Su Yu mercilessly in order to seize power. After all, the ancient city was what he relied on. This was a fundamental conflict. As for the previous conflicts, they could still be mitigated. After all, they did not touch on the root. Now, the conflict between Su Yu and Black Devil could not be mitigated. Unless Su Yu or Black Devil gave up on the ancient city of Grand Star. How was this possible? It was impossible for Su Yu to go out now. If he did, there might be dozens of suns and moons waiting for him outside. Then how do I get rid of him? Su Yu was thinking as he extracted the Heaven Yuan Qi. The Heaven Yuan Qi was also being consumed. Because Su Yu had the death Qi in his body, he had consumed a lot of it during the conflict. Su Yu did not mind it, but the death Qi in his body was a little less. This was not important. If the Heaven Yuan Qi is given to Black Demon, this fellow will be able to offset a lot of the death Qi. Don't try to steal the chicken but end up losing the rice. Instead, it will help him recover from his injuries. That would be foolish. However, with the 9th layer of the Sun-Moon, it was not a problem to determine whether the Heaven Yuan Qi was real or fake. It was too difficult to fake the Heaven Yuan Qi. After Black Demon exchanged for it, he would definitely check it carefully. No one took the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's reputation seriously. In this organization, it was not the first time that someone had taken advantage of someone's reputation. The last time, he was prepared to take advantage of Su Yu. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1913. 1913 Chapter 426, Black Demons Fall 2. Of course, no one had any proof. But everyone knew about this matter. In any case, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion couldn't completely believe it. It's impossible to fake Heavenly Yuan Qi. Kill him. I definitely can't kill him. He's only at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Even if I'm heavily injured, even if I unleash the strength of the 1st level of the Sun-Moon realm, I'm still no match for him. Besides, the other party would definitely be on guard against Xianjiu. Su Yu had a huge headache. This was troublesome. He couldn't even kill a severely injured fellow. What should he do? Count on the undead. Undead won't kill the residents unless the residents kill the undead. If the residents didn't kill the undead wouldn't find trouble with the residents. Unless Black Demon killed a large number of undead and attracted the powerful Sun and Moon undead, Su Yu would have a chance to kill him with the help of the undead. But Black Demon was not stupid. Why kill the undead? He was now surrounded by the aura of death, and he could not wait to stay away from the undead. One thought after another emerged, and one plan after another appeared. Soon, they were all dispelled by Su Yu. To deal with the 9th layer of the Sun and Moon, these plans were too simple and risky. So troublesome. Unfortunately, there was no more Yi Ba's heavenly divine prose. Otherwise, if he dropped one, he could still have a chance to kill the seriously injured black demon with a sudden burst of powerful strength. Forget it, I'll go test it out first and see what the situation is like. After spending about 3 hours, Suyu had extracted enough heavenly yuan qi. The death qi in his body had also been reduced by about 10%. However, it continued to spread very quickly. Suyu did not care too much about it. Just spread it. The speed at which you spread it would never be as fast as the speed at which my strength increased. I can't even be bothered to reverse you. City Lord Manor. Suyu came once again. At this moment, he wore the white mask and white robe. Around the mask, the change word divine text was activated. The in word divine text was activated. The quiet word divine text was activated. On top of that, there was the breath-restraining technique of the Rotary Turtle Clan as well as the endurance divine text that he had just outlined. When Suyu was not moving, it was as if he did not exist. He was now stronger, and the divine text was stronger. His willpower and yuan qi were also stronger. Coupled with this special mask, when Suyu was motionless, if he did not make a move, he would probably be invincible and would probably not notice anything unusual. He would only feel that the people from the heaven hunting pavilion were indeed mysterious and unfathomable. Suyu instantly appeared at the city lord's manor's entrance. His voice changed a little, similar to Xianjiu from before. His voice sounded, "City Lord, the heaven hunting pavilion is here to pay a visit." A moment later, a powerful willpower came to investigate. It swept over and checked Suyu. Without saying anything, the city gate slowly opened. "Come in." Suyu floated in because he found that the people of the heaven hunting pavilion liked to walk like this. They floated around like ghosts. He also floated in. The entire city lord's mansion was dead silent. At that time, many guards had come in, but now, not a single one was left. Black Devil had operated the ancient city for many years, and there were many guards under his command. Now, they were probably all dead. Suyu didn't care. On both sides of the road, there were actually some ancient city tokens left behind by the dead guards. A jade path led directly to the city lord's mansion's main hall. Suyu floated up, mysterious and unfathomable. At this moment, in the city lord's mansion's main hall, Black Devil had transformed into a human and was sitting on the throne in the main hall. His face was slightly black, which was caused by the aura of death. He was no longer as overbearing as Suyu had seen that day. Suyu floated in. "Greetings, City Lord." Black Devil ignored him and glanced at him. He frowned slightly. "Are you the branch head who has been entrenched in the city all this time?" "Yes." "Xianjiu, right?" "Yes." Black Devil nodded slightly. He was not familiar with the heaven hunting pavilion, or rather, he did not want to be familiar with them. Out of sight, out of mind. These guys were always listening to all kinds of information. He would not come into contact with them if he could. If he was sold, he would have to give them money. This time, he had no choice but to ask for help. "Did you bring the heaven yuan qi?" "I did not bring it." Suyu said calmly, "What about the things that you used to exchange? Also, the heaven yuan qi is not with me now. I am afraid that you will snatch it by force." "Humph." A cold snort shook the hearts of the people. Black Demon's eyes were cold as he looked at Suyu. "Xianjiu, when did the heaven hunter from the heaven hunter pavilion become so timid?" "I'm sorry, my lord." Black Demon looked at him coldly. Not to mention, he was actually a little tempted just now. If he killed the other party, he would not have to pay anything and would just snatch it. However, it was not easy to do so now. After a moment of silence, Black Demon took out a black book. "This is the Black Demon treasured book that I agreed to trade with you. It can be considered a heaven rank cultivation technique. The demon race and dragon race can use it. As he said that, his gaze was dark and cold as he said, "But, this cultivation technique is far more precious than 100 portions of heaven yuan qi. So, according to the agreement, after the city gates open, you will provide me with 300 portions of heaven yuan qi." Su Yu did not waste any time and quickly took out the heaven hunting scroll to inquire. Very quickly, he received an affirmative answer. It was like this. After the heaven hunting pavilion opened the city gates, they would send someone to provide Black Devil with the heavenly yuan qi. Of course, this treasured tome was 1/4 of Su Yu's. This fellow was so poor. Su Yu cursed in his heart. Now that he was powerful, he was not afraid of being captured by the sun and moon. Very soon, he said, "Sir is right. However, I need to check the cultivation technique first." Black Demon did not waste any words and threw the item over. He said indifferently, "Don't play tricks. In the city, I can enter almost any ancient house. If you dare to lie to me, I will kill you." "I don't dare." Su Yu took the cultivation technique and quickly checked it. It was indeed a powerful cultivation technique, but Su Yu was not interested. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1914. 1914 Chapter 426 The Fall of the Black Demon 3. I have plenty of heaven-rank cultivation techniques. Moreover, there is a restriction that can only be cultivated by the demon race and the dragon race. The apertures of the demon race and the dragon race are different, but the black demon is a hybrid, so this cultivation technique is somewhat unexpected. After combining the characteristics of the apertures of the demon race and the dragon race, the two races can cultivate it, but the effect may not be as good as the black demon's cultivation. The black demon tome did not have any special abilities, so Su Yu was not very interested. After reading it for a while, based on his experience, it was most likely true. He was too lazy to look at this stupid thing, mainly because he was afraid of drawing out the divine text right away. Although the cultivation method was not good, it was at least a will text written by a 9th-level Sun Moon. Although it was in the dragon race language, the divine text drawn out would also be shattered, but Su Yu did not want to do this in front of the black demon. This thing is shattered, but cultivating willpower is pretty good. Su Yu thought to himself as he took the Black Devil tome and quickly said, "The heaven yuan qi that Lord wants is hidden in an ancient house." As he said that, he said with some hesitation, "I originally thought that Lord still had guards that could go with me to retrieve it, but I did not expect that Lord Side would not have any guards." Black Devil was also depressed. Just saying that made him angry. This fellow from the heaven hunting pavilion was still rubbing salt in his wounds. All the subordinates that he had subdued over the years were finished. Black Devil said coldly, "Go and retrieve it." "Sir, how about this, I'll go and retrieve it after the city lord's mansion's door is opened. I'll use my storage ring to store it and throw it over to you." Black Devil was a little angry. "When did your heaven hunting pavilion become so timid?" "My lord, the city hasn't been peaceful recently. It was caused by Su Yu." "Su Yu." Black Devil snorted. It made sense. Who wouldn't be afraid of getting into trouble now? They almost lost their lives. "Alright, go get it. Put it in your storage ring and throw it in." "Thank you for your understanding, my lord." Su Yu thanked him and left quickly. Black Devil watched him leave silently. He was not too worried. The heaven hunting pavilion was such a big organization after all. If they dared to steal his things, he was still alive. After leaving the city lord's mansion, Su Yu made a rough judgment. Black Devil was indeed surrounded by the aura of death. If a few more sun and moon undead came, this person would most likely be unlucky. How could he lure the sun and moon undead spirits to kill him? Heaven yuan qi, storage ring, how about blowing it up? Blowing it up would not be able to kill him. Su Yu had a headache. The ninth layer of the sun and moon was extremely difficult to deal with. A lean camel was bigger than a horse. No matter how heavily injured he was, he could still be beaten up. The only way was to trigger the aura of death in his body. Then I can only fake the aura of death to go in and detonate the storage ring. This way, I can trigger the aura of death in his body. It would be best if I can let him kill a few sun and moon undead spirits and lure even more powerful sun and moon undead spirits to kill him. By the way, can I pretend to be dead in the storage ring? Su Yu was thinking. If it was possible, how about putting a few hundred of them into the storage ring? Black Demon could kill them with a bang. Had anyone tried that before? Since the undead spirits were already dead, they couldn't be considered alive, right? Was there a problem with putting them into the storage ring? He could try. Su Yu quickly left the city lord's mansion and turned left and right, avoiding the black demon's detection. Soon, he caught a random undead and wanted to put it into his storage ring. Reality proved that he was thinking too much. He couldn't put it in. The undead could actually extract blood essence. Su Yu had sold it last time. How about he get more of the undead's blood essence and explode it all at once? He didn't know if using the blood essence could attract the dead spirits. Su Yu wanted to give it a try. He had some blood essence of dead spirits. The blood essence of a living person could attract the dead spirits, but what about the dead spirits themselves? Also, the dead spirits couldn't enter the city lord's mansion unless they were top-tier dead spirits. How could he get Black Demon out of the city lord's mansion? One thought after another popped up. Soon, Su Yu killed one of the undead. The undead was dead, and its corpse would soon disappear. Su Yu hadn't been in the mood to extract the blood essence of the undead before. The blood essence of this race was more of a scam. It could be used as a bomb, so it was impossible to extract the Heaven Yuan Qi. Of course, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion didn't sell it cheap, so it was still difficult to preserve and collect it. Su Yu quickly extracted a drop of the undead's blood essence and threw it to the undead that had just appeared. The undead felt the blood essence of the undead and was slightly agitated, but it didn't attack Su Yu. It was most likely because of the high level of the death aura on Su Yu's body. There's a reaction. There were no living people in the city. Otherwise, it would have been better to use the blood essence of living people to lure the dead souls. Now, they could only make do with it. There were many dead souls, so it should be quite effective to get more blood essence of the dead souls. Su Yu quickly killed a group of weak dead souls and attracted more mountain and sea dead souls. He did not kill more mountain and sea dead souls to avoid attracting the sun and moon dead souls and being detected by the Black Demon. After killing for a while and extracting thousands of drops of dead souls' blood essence, Su Yu quickly put the blood essence into his storage ring. Soon, he began to collect the death aura in the city. There was nothing missing in the city except the death aura. He didn't expect to blow up the ninth layer of the sun and moon, which was just a dream. His only thought was to trigger the conflict of the death aura in Black Devil's body. Let this guy die directly or be seriously injured to the point of dying. Before that, Su Yu first gave himself a try. He was also a resident. If he did not react to him, then it would be a waste. He detonated a drop of blood essence and some death aura. This foreign death aura surrounded him. Very quickly, it triggered the death aura in his body to fluctuate, but it was very weak and not very obvious. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1915. 1915 Chapter 426 Fall of the Black Demon 4. Su Yu frowned. It seemed that 1,000 drops were not enough. Forget it, prepare more. If there were more undead, he could just kill them. Su Yu quickly killed the undead again and collected the death aura at an extremely fast speed. These undead had almost no resistance in front of him. After killing for a while, Suyu felt that there were many more undead in the city. He had killed at least 500 undead and extracted thousands of drops of blood essence. At this moment, in the back hall of the city lord's mansion. In the tunnel under the stone sculpture, 3 powerful sun and moon dead souls appeared. Their eyes were filled with wisdom and anger. It's him again. That guy who was personally transformed by the sovereign. I really want to kill him. The dead souls communicated with each other with anger and disgust. They killed the dead souls again and again, causing more dead souls to appear. Some of the dead souls couldn't find the enemy, some found the enemy, but they couldn't take revenge. This was because of the suppression of the level of the death aura. Under such circumstances, the few undead generals also felt it. Filled with anger, a few undead spirits appeared near the tunnel. Currently, the only person in the city who wasn't getting revenge for killing the undead spirits was Suyu. And this person was personally transformed by the sovereign. The 3 sun and moon undead spirits were all extremely powerful. Otherwise, they wouldn't have any intelligence at all. At this moment, the few undead spirits were still communicating with each other. Clearly, their intelligence wasn't low. If he kills again, we'll attack. Even if we don't kill him, we'll still trigger the death aura in his body. He's courting death. That's right. This is also a rule. The other undead won't dare to attack. If we attack, we'll trigger the death aura in his body. The few undead were communicating with each other. From time to time, they would glance at the stone sculpture that was suppressing the passageway. In fact, they were trying to probe the stone sculpture's intentions. In the end, the stone statue did not say anything. Clearly, this was in accordance with the rules. The few undead let out a sigh of relief. That was good. If Suyu continued to slaughter wantonly, they would definitely make a move and trigger his death aura to erupt and kill him. At this moment, Suyu still did not know about this. Having prepared everything, with a thought, he stored a large amount of death aura and the blood essence of the undead into his storage ring. In the next moment, he quickly rushed towards the sun and moon undead of the city lord. In the next moment, he was entangled with the sun and moon dead spirit. Suyu's speed was extremely fast, but he was entangled by the sun and moon dead spirit. Actually, this sun and moon dead spirit didn't really want to pay attention to him. It was mainly because Suyu was too annoying and kept pestering him to fight. The sun and moon dead spirit had weak intelligence and could sense the monarch's aura, so it didn't want to pay attention to Suyu. However, it was the other party who pestered him time and time again. The sun and moon undead was also a little irritated. At this moment, Suyu suddenly shouted, "City Lord, I'm pestered by the undead. Can I trouble you to come and take the storage ring personally?" His voice was very loud. And Black Demon walked out of the hall in the next moment and floated to the top of the city lord's mansion's wall. He looked into the distance. In the sky, Xianjiu was not only pestering the sun and moon undead, but this guy from the heaven hunting pavilion was not weak at all. Black Demon frowned. The sun and moon undead spirits were over there. Damn it, they could do more harm than good. Send them over yourself. Black Demon was extremely cold. At this moment, his death aura was exploding too quickly. He did not want to get close to the sun and moon undead spirits, which could easily trigger the death aura in his body to attack his heart. He had spent money to buy a door-to-door service, not to pick up the goods himself. And it was in a dangerous situation. Suyu cursed silently. Such cowardice. This fellow was very arrogant before, but how could he be so cowardly now? In other words, the aura of death had exploded so severely that he did not dare to approach the sun and moon undead anymore. He had no choice but to harass the sun and moon undead and bring them to the city lord's mansion. At this moment, the stone statue in the back hall suddenly opened its eyes. The 3 top-tier undead spirits also looked in that direction. Although they couldn't see the faces of the undead spirits, they all seemed to have strange expressions on their faces. This was Su Yu, and they knew it. Of course, they couldn't see it, but they could sense it through the undead spirit's reactions. This was Su Yu. What did he mean by bringing the undead spirits to the city lord's mansion? As for Black Demon, he didn't seem to recognize Su Yu. It seemed like he was making some sort of deal with him. All of a sudden, the three dead souls thought of something. As for the stone sculpture, he had already thought of it. The stone sculpture opened his eyes and looked at Su Yu in the distance. He could tell that this kid wanted to kill Black Demon. He was extraordinarily bold. He was extremely bold. The ninth layer of the Sun-Moon realm, an invincible reserve force, was still in the city. Even those quasi-invincible experts who had fused with their incarnations did not dare to think about killing Black Devil in the city. As for Su Yu, he dared. His courage had already broken through the heavens. What great courage! Black Devil. The stone sculpture looked at Black Devil. The death aura in Black Devil's body was attacking. Once he was pulled by an external force, he could really be killed by the death aura. He looked at Su Yu again. The stone statue's expression was strange. His left eye was Black Devil, and his right eye was Su Yu. Was it a good thing that Black Devil was really killed by him? If Black Devil died, then there would be an additional 9th level Sun-Moon undead. However, even if Black Devil didn't die now, he might not be able to last for long. At this moment, the three undead below were quickly communicating. Does he want to kill that undead commander of our race and draw out more power to trigger the death aura in Black Devil's body? He dares. Can he kill him? Kill him. If he kills him, we'll have a reason to attack. This time, we'll kill two birds with one stone and trigger the death aura in his and Black Devil's bodies. We'll kill them all in one go. The three quasi-invincible undead quickly made a decision. Kill them all together. Since Su Yu dared to kill the Sun-Moon undead spirit, they would attack him and trigger the aura of death in Su Yu's body. At the same time, they would kill Black Demon as well. It would be good, and the monarch would probably be happy. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1916. 1916 Chapter 426 The Fall of the Black Demon Show. Subscribe. 5. All of a sudden, there was an additional undead general, and another undead general that the monarch valued. Very good. They quickly looked at the stone statue, and one of the undead said with some fear, Lord Guardian, everything will be done according to the rules. Once Su Yu kills that Sun-Moon commander, we will take action. Logically speaking, after killing a Sun-Moon initial stage, they would not be able to take action. However, didn't Su Yu kill a lot of dead souls? After accumulating experience, it was understandable for them to take action. The stone statue looked down at them and saw through their tricks. If they wanted to kill two birds with one stone, they would all be killed. Black Demon did not make a mistake. If you do not leave the city lord's mansion, you are not allowed to attack him. The stone statue's voice was a little cold. The dead souls quickly nodded. This was not a problem. Don't leave the city lord's mansion, whatever. At most, they could release more death aura. Black Demon would not live for long anyway. At the same time, Su Yu also brought the Sun and Moon dead souls and quickly flew toward the city lord's mansion. Sir, help me knock him away. I'll give you some extra heaven vitality. Su Yu screamed shrilly, but Black Demon was unmoved. He said indifferently, come here, throw the storage ring in. As for whether you die or not, what does it have to do with me? I'm just buying things, I'm not in charge of saving people. Sir. Su Yu hurriedly said, my aura of death is spreading rapidly. Sir, if this continues, I'm going to use this Sky Yuan Qi. You dare. Black Demon was furious. You dare to keep the things I bought for yourself? He looked at Suyu again. Indeed, the aura of death was spreading rapidly. He frowned. At this juncture, this fellow wouldn't really use Sky Yuan Qi, right? He had bought Heaven Yuan Qi. But, the other party was about to die. Would he not use it? Black Demon was a little frustrated. Everything was not going well. That damned fellow, Suyu hated him, and so did the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. They could have brought him here directly, but they insisted on hiding him somewhere. Then, they went to retrieve him, and unfortunately, they encountered the Sun and Moon undead. Black Demon cursed in his heart and quickly judged the situation. Very quickly, he sensed the danger again. Fortunately, if he did not kill the Sun and Moon undead, the danger was probably not great. The 9th level of the Sun Moon was very sensitive to danger. Seeing that Suyu really took out a wisp of Heaven Yuan Qi and absorbed it, Black Demon suddenly flew into a rage. Stop! Damn it! How dare your Heaven Hunting Pavilion break its promise and steal the goods of the target? Sir! I will return the Black Demon Bible to you after this. According to the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's rules, if I am unable to complete the mission, I have the right to cancel the transaction. Suyu's voice was filled with helplessness and forlornness. My lord, I have no hope of reaching the city lord's manor. I probably haven't even gone there when the aura of death will completely erupt. You. Black Demon was extremely furious. He then looked at Suyu. The aura of death was extremely dense. He really could not hold on any longer. Unlucky. He had no choice but to go out and retrieve it himself. If it was not for the fact that it was not suitable to provoke the undead, he really wanted to go out and retrieve the item. He would have killed Xianjiu while he was at it. Forget it now, he would just give him a way out. He was still hoping that he could think of a way to communicate with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion and think of a way to transport some Heaven Yuan Qi over. At the next moment, Black Devil flew out of the city lord's mansion. And at this moment, in the back hall, the stone sculpture closed its eyes. It sighed lightly in its heart. Black Devil was finished. He did not leave the city lord's mansion. Even if Suyu still had some tricks up his sleeve, it would still be difficult to kill him. But he had left. The 3 undead generals below were waiting for this opportunity. Now, Black Demon still had a little bit of life left. If Suyu did not kill the Sun and Moon undead, or if he could not kill the Sun and Moon undead, the 3 undead generals would not be able to leave either. He would not let them leave. However, if Suyu could kill the Sun and Moon undead, then there would be no reason for him to stop them. Not only would Black Demon die, would Suyu be able to hold on? The stone sculpture felt that Suyu was even more serious than Black Demon. Was this guy really not afraid of killing him? Or did he feel that no matter how many times he killed, no undead would appear? He was thinking in his heart. Whatever, it was fine if he tortured himself to death. In just a few days, the sacred city was about to become a dead city. The 3 undead were extremely excited and were waiting for an opportunity. As for Suyu not being able to kill the Sun Moon commander, there was probably a chance, right? The 3 undead thought. After all, this Sun Moon undead was only at the initial stage. Moreover, its intelligence was not high and it was somewhat suppressed by the aura of the sovereign. If Suyu could burst out, there was a high chance that he could kill it, right? The undead generals were also looking forward to it. They were waiting. If Suyu did not kill it, then it would be difficult to deal with it. At this moment, Suyu's eyes lit up slightly. He was out. It was a good thing that he was out of the city lord's mansion. Previously, Suyu had thought that if he did not come out, he would have to explode his storage ring. It would be meaningless if he did not kill the undead. But once the Black Demon came out, of course, he had to kill it. Could he kill it? Of course he could. With Suyu's current strength, his physical body had completed 48 casts. His physical body's strength exceeded 170,000 apertures. With the help of the yang apertures and the divine text, his explosive strength alone was close to 200,000 apertures. He had just found a place to swallow a drop of sun and moon blood essence and opened the first-level sun and moon diagram. He would swallow another drop of blood essence and attack again. Killing this silly undead would not be a big problem. It was equivalent to each other being of the same level. Su Yu was still alive and had many tricks up his sleeve. Killing an early-stage sun and moon undead would not be that troublesome. Speaking of which, a drop of sun and moon blood essence that he had casually swallowed belonged to the mountain-breaking ox clan. Su Yu could not help but sigh. The mountain-breaking ox clan was really rare. Whether it was the auction deposit that everyone had given him, or the 200 drops of sun and moon blood essence that were later given to him, there was quite a lot of Poshan ox blood essence. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1917. 1917 Chapter 426 The Fall of Black Devil 6. This race, how did they survive until now? With this thought in mind, Su Yu did not care so much. When Black Devil flew out of the city lord's mansion and gradually approached, Su Yu saw that Black Devil had stopped. He shouted, "Sir, send him flying with a strike across the air. I will throw the thing over." "Sir, you don't need to come and take the risk." Black Devil looked at him indifferently. "I'm not prepared to take the risk, do you even need to say it?" He threw a punch across the air. With a rumble, the sun and moon undead rolled around once. Su Yu quickly left, and a storage ring in his hand flew towards Black Devil. The holy prose of the word silence was used to the fullest. Otherwise, Black Devil might have sensed danger at this moment. Su Yu prayed in his heart that the holy prose of the old turtle, Great Zhou King, was more powerful. He had to hide it for an instant. He had to hide it. Black Devil frowned slightly. He could sense something, but the sun and moon undead spirits were nearby. Although he could sense something, it was very weak, so he didn't pay much attention to it. At that moment, the storage ring suddenly exploded. The blood essence of countless undead spirits exploded. Along with the boundless aura of death, Black Devil was instantly enveloped. His eyes changed slightly, and he moved extremely fast. He instantly retreated, but his body staggered slightly. The aura of death suddenly erupted within his body, and it kept rolling. "You're courting death." Black Devil was furious. A heaven-hunting pavilion mountain and sea dared to scheme against him. Just as he was about to kill Su Yu, a blade light shone out. Boom! The aura of the sun and moon rose up, and it was incredibly powerful. With a hum, the blade light descended, and the sun and moon undead spirit, who had just been sent flying, was instantly killed. At this moment, Black Devil's face fell. F***ck. This fellow knew how to use the heaven-splitting blade. No, this wasn't Xianjiu. This was Su Yu. Impossible. Su Yu wasn't that strong. This was a sun and moon realm, something wasn't right. Black Devil felt countless thoughts surging into his mind in an instant. He knew that he had been schemed against. Without a word, he roared and forcefully endured the pain of being corroded by the aura of death as he flew toward the city lord's manor. There was no point in not killing this fellow. If this fellow were the sun and moon, he would be in great trouble if he killed him and attracted the sun and moon spirits of the dead. Perhaps, he would really die. Then, in the next moment, Black Devil fell into despair. As for Su Yu, he was still laughing happily at the start. If he succeeded, even if Black Devil didn't die, he would be in great trouble. After this, there was no hope for him to recover. He could only wait for his death. However, in the next moment, his expression changed as well. What the hell? What happened to not targeting me? Right at this moment, 3 incomparably powerful auras rose up. The aura of death instantly filled the entire ancient city. It was so dense that it was frightening, causing the sky in the ancient city to instantly turn dark. Suyu felt a powerful aura of death sweeping towards him. Within his body, the aura of death rapidly surged and surged. Holy shit! I'm being targeted too. Suyu was surprised. What happened to the monarch's aura of death suppressing everything? Liar! Without saying a word, Suyu quickly fled towards the ancient house below. He was done for. He had to quickly dissipate the aura of death, or else it would really attack his heart. At this moment, Black Devil was also howling in despair. You idiot, do you want to die with me? He had also gone mad. Was this fool Suyu? Until now, he was still unsure. If that was the case, this fool was extremely stupid. At this moment, he could feel that the other party's situation was no better than his. If he was corroded to death by the death aura, the other party would probably die as well. Where did this fool come from, to actually want to die together with him? Black Devil sank into despair and helplessness. He turned his head and looked in the direction Suyu had escaped. A quasi-invincible undead had already chased after him. That death aura was filled with an unbelievable power. You're dead. And I am also dead. Black Devil was on the verge of collapse. Who was this madman? It wasn't Suyu, was it? Why did Suyu insist on dying together with him? Just because he said that he wanted 30% of the items and that the moat might be the way out. There was unwillingness, despair, and some relief. All of this, when he became the city lord, he should have understood that sooner or later, it was just a matter of time. With a sigh, Black Demon laughed and stopped struggling. He turned to look at Suyu and smiled. If I die, you die with me. Not bad. And at this moment, a terrifying amount of Heaven Yuan Qi instantly enveloped Suyu. Black Demon widened his eyes and revealed an angry expression. In the next moment, he felt relieved. Thankfully, although there was a lot of Heaven Yuan Qi, the quasi-invincible undead spirit was still there. No matter how much it was useless. And at that moment, Suyu's body suddenly emitted a ray of light. The death qi that covered his entire body instantly melted a little. Suyu roared angrily. Reverse. Reversing the Yuan aperture and relying on death qi to kill me? I'm thinking too much. I'm not afraid of this. I'm just afraid that the quasi-invincible undead will directly kill me. Black Demon widened his eyes again. What was this? But fortunately, the quasi-invincible undead was chasing after him. No ancient house was of any use. The other party could break through. He watched as Suyu rushed into an ancient house, and a mocking expression appeared on his face. It was useless. The other party could break through the house and kill you directly. Idiot. However, in the next moment, he was stunned. Just as the aura of death spread throughout his body, the undead suddenly stopped in front of the door. The quasi-invincible undead that was chasing after Suyu frowned slightly and turned to look at his comrade who was giving Black Devil the aura of death. He sent a voice transmission. Is it not appropriate to kill him in a broken house? Yes, we will all be comrades in the future. The monarch values us, and it might not conform to the rules. Why don't we just forget about it? Then forget about it. The undead that had chased him to the door did not choose to break the house. Instead, they continued to give off the aura of death outside the door. They sent a voice transmission. Maybe we can use the aura of death to kill him. That's enough. It's not appropriate to kill him directly. Right. The three undead communicated with each other. Meanwhile, Black Demon widened his eyes in despair and unwillingness. Charge in. Why aren't you going in? Go in and kill him. Why? Although he felt that Su Yu would definitely die if he hid in the house, he wanted to see them tear him into pieces before he died. Why aren't you charging in? Black Devil was unwilling. Why? With despair and unwillingness, a large amount of death aura spread out and attacked the world. Boom! The Sea of Will collapsed. Black Devil shouted in despair, "Tell me, are you Su Yu?" Until now, he was still not sure. No one replied. In the next moment, an incomparably huge sun and moon crashed. At this moment, outside the ancient city, even if it was a few hundred li away, there were still people who saw it and were stunned. This was, the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm dead. Who? No, there was no need to ask. The city lord of the ancient city, Black Demon. He was dead. At this moment, all the living beings outside the ancient city were stunned. What had happened recently? Even the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm was dead. He was almost invincible. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1918. 1918 Chapter 427 Battle of the City Lord 1. Black Demon was dead. At this moment, Su Yu did not care too much. He hid in the ancient house with fear and quickly began to reverse the death aura. The death aura was too powerful. Furthermore, the death aura was constantly seeping into the house. Su Yu could feel that the powerful undead was still outside, still erupting with death aura. His face turned black, and his entire body was turning black. The aura of death quickly began to invade his heart. As for Su Yu, he spared no expense and consumed a large amount of Heaven Yuan Qi, constantly cancelling out the aura of death and strengthening himself. Along the way, he also took out a large amount of Heaven and Earth Mystic Light. As he reversed his Yuan aperture, he consumed the Heaven and Earth Mystic Light to strengthen himself. The aura of death continued to surge over like it was free. As for Su Yu, he was also struggling, not allowing the aura of death to devour him. If it was a normal resident or even Black Demon, they would be dead for sure. However, Su Yu was not. He provoked the sun and moon undead spirits, so he was not afraid of being corroded by the aura of death. However, he did not expect that the undead spirits he provoked this time were too powerful. At this moment, the mask was shaking. Xianjiu, what exactly happened? How did Black Demon die? Was it Black Demon who died? The black-armored elder kept asking. In the headquarters of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. The black-armored elder, who was wearing a faceless mask, was shocked. He quickly told the other elders, Xianjiu is in the city. I'm asking about the situation, but Xianjiu hasn't replied to me yet. He's still alive. He's not dead. He might have been affected. There's news from outside the city. It seems that a powerful dead spirit has appeared. Black Demon and the dead spirit are fighting, and the death aura has been drawn. Soon, an elder quickly said, Xianjiao, get Xianjiu to investigate the situation and quickly report it. Okay. The hall fell silent. The elders fell into deep thought. Black Demon was dead. This meant that there was no longer a city lord in Ancient Starred City. Ancient Starred City was a very important ancient city, and it was near the Starry Palace. At this moment, the position of city lord. They didn't dare to think too much about it, and now wasn't the time to think about it. Because the current ancient Starfield city was frighteningly dangerous. All the living people were dead. No, the entire ancient city might be a real living dirt. It hadn't even been a month yet, and the floating earth spirit was still imprisoned. Even now, the heaven hunting list hadn't removed his name. Clearly, that fellow was still alive. Of course, if he was alive, he would really come out. He did not know if he would think that he had traveled through time and space. That was because before he was sealed, the world was not like this. And the time of the seal was only a month. A month. In the heavenly battlefield, it was only normal that nothing had happened. Su Yu reversed the aura of death as he checked the news. Not only was the black armor asking questions, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's yellow division was also asking questions. Su Yu was straightforward as well. He quickly replied through the mask, "Elder, this is an exclusive piece of information. Who will get the information if you sell it? It's your choice. There are rules. Why don't we split it? We'll see how much the headquarters sells. Your exclusive information will be split 10%. Why don't you sell it directly to the headquarters and buy it all at once? I'll give you 100 heaven hunting points." 100 heaven hunting points meant 100,000 merit points. Su Yu was speechless. 100 heaven hunting points. 100,000 merit points. That was a lot. However, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion was very shady. Previously, when they traded with Su Yu, they said that 50,000 merit points would be exchanged for a drop of first-level Sun Moon Blood Essence. In other words, even if there was a 40% discount, 100,000 merit points would only be more than 3 drops. If they bought it all, with Su Yu's identity as Bai Mian, it was equivalent to earning 3 drops of Sun Moon Blood Essence. It was actually very impressive. However, wouldn't the share be higher? With the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's methods, if he sold it to a few hundred clans, each clan would take 1 drop. A few hundred drops, and the share would be 10%. That would be a huge profit for him. Thinking of this, Su Yu directly said, "Share." It was fine if he bought it out, but he didn't lack this small amount of money. Xian Jia didn't waste any time and quickly said, "Then tell me, what's the situation now? What happened just now, and what's the specific situation?" Su Yu quickly said, "Elder, can I just tell you directly? Do I not need to report it to the Yellow Division? Anything is fine." Xian Jia was a little suspicious. This fellow was having a good chat with him now. Was it because the death of Black Devil had nothing to do with him? Just as he was thinking, Su Yu said, "In that case, I can get 10% of the profits. Also, the headquarters made a profit. Does that mean that they will give me 1/1000 of the profits?" Yes. Su Yu understood. It was all right. The profits would be counted separately. Although it was very little, it was still meat no matter how small it was. Now, it was time for him to reverse the situation and cast his body. He did not delay the exchange. He wanted to see if the Death Chi was more powerful or if he was more powerful. The Death Chi and Yuan Chi were currently engaged in a fierce battle near his heart. Let's see who could exhaust the other to death. The situation is like this. I was just about to send Black Demon's Heaven Yuan Chi when Su Yu, who had been hiding all this while, suddenly charged out. No, that's not right. It's not like that. It's like this. Su Yu adjusted his explanation. Xian Jia was speechless. Were you F*King creating fake news? Alright, Su Yu and Xian Jiu were the same person. Xian Jiu, think carefully before you say anything. There are still residents in the city. Perhaps they heard some movements or even saw it. Selling fake news. You have to understand that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's information is the most accurate. This is also where our confidence lies. Once it's fake news, you have to say it out. Otherwise, if it's found out, you will be in trouble. All right. Su Yu thought about it from the beginning to the end. Very quickly, he told Black Demon everything that had happened. In general, nothing had changed, including the fact that Xianjiu had been entangled by the undead and Black Demon had come to rescue him. Then, Su Yu suddenly charged out and threw something to Black Demon. It exploded and detonated the aura of death in Black Demon's body. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1919. 1919 Chapter 427 Battle of City Lords 2. As for Su Yu, he took this opportunity to self-detonate a divine text and killed a sun and moon undead spirit with a single slash. This led to 3 undead spirits that might be in the late stage of the sun and moon realm. They might even be stronger than the late stage of the sun and moon realm, existences at the peak of the sun and moon realm. Su Yu was being chased by an undead spirit. Black Devil was being corroded by 2 undead spirits. Black Devil had fallen, and Su Yu's life and death were unknown. Perfect. Almost nothing had changed, except that at the last moment, another Su Yu had appeared. As for himself, he had also been implicated. Fortunately, he was not the main character, so he quickly hid in the ancient house. Now, he was shivering. Su Yu's life and death are unknown. Powerless. When Xian Jia heard this version, he considered it for a moment, and it was not a big problem. The extra Su Yu was probably Xian Jia's doing, and it could be explained in general. However, Xian Jia still quickly said, "Black Demon has no reason to save you, save a person from the heaven hunting pavilion." Su Yu quickly said, "He didn't save me, it's because of the heaven yuan qi in my hands. He came to take the heaven yuan qi." Then Su Yu self-detonated Yiba's heavenly divine one. He still has Yiba's heavenly divine one. "I don't know about that." Su Yu gave an answer that he did not know, and Xian Jia was speechless again. "You don't know? If you did not know, who would know?" He was suspicious. "Did Yi Batian still have the divine one, Su Yu? How much did it drop? How did Yi Batian meet such a disciple and grand disciple, and leave behind such a huge inheritance? In the end, these guys dropped it one by one. What a waste." He was also thinking that it was most likely caused by the Divine One. Otherwise, Su Yu would have been Ling Yun. Even if you said that he could kill the sun and moon undead, the black armor would not believe it. Even if this sun and moon undead was only at the initial stage, even if this undead was not very intelligent, the sun and moon undead were still extremely powerful. The black armor went through the process again and there were basically no problems. He quickly said, "Then, is Su Yu dead or not? What's the situation? Don't you know if he's dead or not?" Su Yu ridiculed. "I don't know. He escaped, but I saw his death aura spread out. He might be dying soon." Xian Jia stopped asking and said, "Then how's your situation now? Are you confident that you can get the City Lord token?" "Huh?" Su Yu was surprised. Xian Jia quickly said, "Now that Black Demon is dead, the ancient city of Xinghong has no master. If you, Xian Jiu, become the master of the ancient city, my heaven hunting pavilion will also give you full support. Your status will be greatly improved, and you might soon become an elder. But with my strength, even if I become the master of the ancient city, there will probably be people who will have designs on me, right?" "Of course." Xian Jia said, "They will definitely have designs on you, because any master of the ancient city is an overlord-level figure. Moreover, the master of the ancient city is said to be a puppet. However, the authority in the ancient city is huge, so there will definitely be people who will deal with you." Speaking of this, Xian Jia said again, "Of course, there's another way. It's best if you don't leave the City Lord's mansion. Also, let me remind you that to become the master of an ancient city, you need to refine the City Lord token. The City Lord token isn't that easy to refine. If it were that easy, you wouldn't have to be at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm to become the City Lord. Be careful that you're killed during the refinement process." Su Yu said speechlessly, "No one can enter." The black armor quickly reminded him, "Don't be careless. You forgot that there are still residents in the city. Perhaps there are even the sun and moon. Now that Black Demon is dead, the commotion is huge. Do you think they don't have any ideas? Do you really think that if they don't come out, they're dead?" That made sense. Su Yu almost forgot about these people. Yes, these people were also residents. Of course, they wanted to become the city lord. Right now, only a few powerful undead were outside. Otherwise, someone would probably come to snatch the city lord token very soon. Suyu thought for a moment and said, then after becoming the city lord, will the heaven hunting pavilion give some support? Of course, the prerequisite is that you're Xianjiu. And not Suyu. Suyu hesitated for a moment and shook his head. Perhaps it would be better to become the city lord with Suyu's identity. Everyone knows that I am in the city, so I won't die so easily. Xianjiu, an unremarkable member of the Mystic Division. It was too sudden for him to become the city lord. The city lord was destined to be noticed by the four sides. Once Xianjiu became the city lord, his identity might be quickly destroyed. It was useless. Suyu was certain of this. Forget it, Xianjiu's identity should be preserved. I understand. Thank you for your reminder, Elder. This black-armored elder was still all right. He had reminded him of many things, including the residents of the city. There might be some experts among them. Even if Suyu sealed the city, it would not affect them much. Previously, he did not want to come out to seek death. Now, Black Demon was dead. These people would definitely come out to fight for it. Other than that, Black Devil's death did not have much to do with him. Although he had been plotted against and died, he was already about to die. At this moment, the heaven and earth rewards descended and only gave him a wisp of heaven and earth mystic light. F***CK. This was the 9th layer of the sun and moon, yet he gave such a small reward. Clearly, he felt that Suyu's role in this was pitifully small. He did not even manage to finish the job. If I had known earlier, I would have stabbed him. Suyu cursed inwardly. What a huge loss. As for Black Demon's death, Suyu had no interest in going out to collect his corpse. If he could not, his corpse would turn into a dead spirit and his yuan qi would not leak out. He had seen the scene of Xianjiu's death before, and now there were a few quasi-invincible dead spirits. Suyu did not have any hope for Black Demon's corpse. His yuan qi did not disperse because there was no more yuan qi. It was all death qi. It was probably because he had sufficient strength after the transformation, so it did not disperse. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1920. 1920 Chapter 427 Battle of the City Lord 3. Just as Suyu was resisting the aura of death. At the location of Black Demon's corpse. A black-cloaked undead appeared, and the moon and stars appeared. This undead sovereign seemed to be very satisfied at this moment. He looked at Black Demon's corpse and nodded slightly. Not bad, he died earlier than expected. This was also a good thing, as he would have another general under him. The enormous corpse of the Black Dragon was spread across the street. At this moment it was covered by the aura of death, but it had not completely transformed into a dead spirit. Xingyue took a look and grabbed out with one hand. The enormous corpse instantly shrank and was grabbed by Xingyue. It was like a small worm that was circling in Xingyue's hand. Let's go, bring him back to the dead spirit world. Xingyue opened her mouth and looked at the dead spirit that was still blocking Suyu's door. She said indifferently, let's go. Monarch. The dead spirit was a little displeased and said quickly, Monarch, why don't we continue to change him completely? Xingyue said indifferently, it's not time for him to die. Xingyue could feel that the guy inside was still reversing the death aura. His speed was not slow, and his strength had increased very quickly recently. Xingyue thought that perhaps, when he was alive, his strength had increased even faster. If he died, Suyu's strength would be weak, and the chances of him preserving his memories would be low. Then, it would be very difficult for him to improve. If he could improve to the sun and moon while he was alive, it would actually not be too bad. If he really died, he would lose his memories, all sorts of methods, and all sorts of cultivation techniques. He could only cultivate according to his instincts. Then, it would probably take hundreds of years to become the sun and moon, even if Su Yu's talent was astonishing. The quasi-invincible undead was a little unwilling, but he didn't say anything else. Besides Xingyue, someone from the other two undead said, "Monarch, he's been killing the undead. He's only killing some weak undead. It's fine. Kill the sun and moon. If you appear this time, he won't dare to do it again." Xingyue said indifferently. No matter how many weak undead died, it wouldn't hurt. Sun-Moon realm was considered powerful. Su Yu's killing this time had caused 3 quasi-invincible dead spirits to appear. They probably wouldn't dare to do so next time. At this moment, underground, a storage ring and a special token were reflected in the eyes of a few dead spirits. "Monarch, if the storage ring isn't broken, if we don't give it to that kid, the City Lord token, who do you think will be the most advantageous to us in inheriting the position of City Lord?" They didn't have to give it to Su Yu. Was it really a good thing for him to become the City Lord? It was hard to say. Xingyue glanced at him but didn't say anything. It's up to them. After saying that, Xingyue grabbed the black demon's corpse and disappeared from where they were. The 3 quasi-invincible undead looked at each other and quickly disappeared. Sovereign didn't want to kill Su Yu now, or rather, he was restricted. In that case, he couldn't kill this annoying fellow. The Sovereign probably wanted him to increase his strength and strengthen himself before he died. In that case, the dead Su Yu would naturally be much stronger. The few undead were helpless. They could not disobey the Sovereign's order and quickly disappeared on the spot. And in the ancient house, Su Yu felt the fluctuation of the aura of death weaken. He heaved a sigh of relief. Left? He did not dare to be careless. Forget it, he would cultivate first. First, he had to weaken some of the death qi. He had to at least reduce it by 30%. Maintaining it at 70% was death qi and 30% was yuan qi. In that case, it would not be as dangerous as before. The death qi would instantly attack his heart. And the constant collision and elimination of the death qi and heaven yuan qi allowed Su Yu's physical body to improve very quickly. With a boom, he completed the body forging once in a short period of time. Su Yu had completed 49 times. His physical body became stronger, and his yuan qi also became stronger. In the blink of an eye, the death qi retreated a little, and soon, the death qi also became stronger. At that moment, Xingyue, who had just returned to the passageway, turned her head to take a look. Her eyes, which could not be seen, revealed a strange look. Just how many casts had he completed? Even Xingyue did not know how many times Su Yu had completed the casting. Xingyue only knew that Su Yu's strength was getting stronger and stronger. It was so strong that she needed to pay more death qi to suppress him. This was the expert who used Iron 72 to cast his body after opening the heavenly cycle aperture. How many such experts were there in the ancient times? It was probably very few. They could not afford it. In the ancient times, there might have been many geniuses, powerful cultivation techniques, and many resources, but, could they afford to raise such a genius? From the awakening of the aperture all the way to the body forging, 9 transformations of yuan qi, how many factions could afford to raise such a gold-swallowing beast? As the stars and moon watched, the stone sculpture opened its eyes to look at Su Yu. Black Demon was dead. The stone sculpture was still somewhat complicated. City Lord, many times, the stone sculpture had chosen him. Black Demon could be considered one as well. Now, he had died much earlier than expected. Otherwise, Black Demon would have lived for quite a few years. The stone sculptures closed their eyes and stopped thinking about it. There were some things that he could do nothing about. Actually, he could have sent a voice transmission to tell Black Devil not to go out. However, he did not. He chose to sit on the sidelines and maintain the rules. Every stone sculpture had a different personality. He was more dignified and cold than heaven's destruction. If it was heaven's destruction, he might have warned him. At the same time, the outside world was also in chaos. Soon, the news from the heaven-hunting pavilion spread. Black Devil was indeed dead. 3 quasi-invincible undead spirits appeared in the ancient city again, causing Black Devil's death chi to attack his heart. He died completely, and all of this was related to Suyu. Suyu self-detonated a piece of Yi Ba's divine prose, killed a sun and moon undead spirit, and drew out an incomparably powerful undead spirit. This was the cause of Black Devil's death. As for the heaven-hunting pavilion's Xianjiu, he mentioned it slightly and did not say much. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1921. 1921 Chapter 427 Battle of City Lords 4. Su Yu. This name once again resounded throughout the heavens. A 9th-level sun and moon expert had died because of him. At this moment, it hadn't even been 3 days since Modwa Na and the others had left. Some people hadn't even left the Sea of Stars when they received such news. For a time, many geniuses were extremely complicated. This was a fellow who could cause trouble. He was very good at causing trouble. However, the news from the heaven-hunting pavilion was that Su Yu was also covered in the aura of death. The aura of death was spreading so much that no one knew how long he could live. Without Su Yu, the heavens might not have much fun. Many geniuses had never fought with Su Yu before. If such a genius died quietly in the ancient city, it might be a great regret. And Su Yu was destined to leave a mark in the history of the 10,000 races. Lingyun realm humans killed many suns and moons in the 2 dead cities, including 1 9th-level sun and moon, as well as many invincible ones who lost 3 incarnations. Su Yu was probably the only Lingyun. At this moment, the emotions of the 10,000 races were complicated. Of course, even though it was complicated, with Black Demon dead, the position of the city lord of the ancient city could be thought of. If Su Yu died, the ancient city would open in 3 days. At that time, they might be able to seize some of the city lord positions. No matter how powerful the puppets were, they were invincible in the city. If they were already residents of the ancient city, it would be even better to become the city lord. It wasn't that there weren't people from all races who became residents. The heaven-hunting pavilion had them, and so did the other races. However, most of them weren't strong. At this moment, there was also a group of idle sun and moon, including the sun and moon that had many enemies. They all rushed toward the ancient city, wanting to seize the position of city lord, even if they had to become residents. Some people already had no way out. Becoming a city lord was a pretty good way out. As for becoming a citizen after dying, who cared about that? Eastern Warzone. Within the East Rift Valley, a few invincible kings gathered together. The great Xia King said coldly, "Black Devil is dead, that's a good thing. If this guy wasn't hiding in the city, I would have killed him with a single slash. Su Yu, this little guy, is really bold, he actually tricked and killed him." After saying this, the great Xia King said indifferently, "Su Yu is too talented, bold and careful. Although he has turned into a citizen of the ancient city, I still hope that the humans can think of a way to save him from this identity." Yu Wudi said in a low voice, "How?" The great Xia King, "Almost no one can escape." The great Xia King said coldly, "Almost no one, but it doesn't mean that there hasn't been one. If we can send him into the starry mansion and give him a few thousand heaven origin fruits to help him dissipate the aura of death, when he comes out, 3 to 5 eternal ones can help him cut off the passage of the aura of death, or we can simply break through the ancient city, enter the dead spirit world, and kill the Star Moon Sovereign who controls him. He will naturally be fine." Silence. Attack the ancient city and kill Star Moon. This was the method given by the great Xia king. Yes, if he killed Star Moon, there was a high chance that Su Yu would be able to get rid of his identity, but what kind of joke was this? Someone said coldly, "Great Xia king, are you serious about attacking the ancient city and killing Star Moon? Then, how many immortals are you prepared to sacrifice in exchange for Su Yu?" The previous 12 unrivaled warriors had returned in defeat. There was also the death of the unrivaled 3 incarnations, but not a single hair was hurt. Are you serious? Then how many unrivaled warriors would be deployed? In order to save Su Yu, could it be that 50 unrivaled warriors would be deployed to help him? What a joke. He didn't want the human realm anymore. He didn't want the Eastern Warzone anymore. The Emperor of Great Xia fell silent. At this moment, those who refuted him might not be his enemies, but his enemies. Everyone still had a lot to consider. The price of killing Xingyue was too high, not to mention Su Yu falling into it. Even if an invincible person fell into it, it might not be worth it for the human race to do so. Because if they really attacked the ancient city, many invincible people might die. Another person said, "Moreover, Su Yu might already be dead now. Didn't you see the heaven-hunting pavilion say that Su Yu was surrounded by the aura of death?" The great Xia king said indifferently, "Even if you die, he might not necessarily die. It's hard for people like him to die. You said the same thing about Yi Badian back then. What happened in the end? Some people were angry and furious. In the end, Yi Badian died, which led to Su Yu's calamity. Xia Wuxian, Su Yu's present difficulties were not caused by us. It was Yi Badian, it was your great Xia manner, do you understand? Don't try to shirk responsibility, don't think that we caused this. Now, Su Yu's series of actions are no different from Yi Badian's. From now on, the multi-god literature faction will be the target of everyone. Be it Yi Badian or Su Yu, they have pushed the multi-god literature faction to the peak and become the target of all the races. The great Xia king was silent. Even if he said something wrong, it wasn't completely wrong. 80% of the reason why the multi-god literature faction had such a difficult time was due to Yi Badian. However, the great Xia king still said coldly, "I admit that the great Xia clan has a responsibility and Yi Badian has a responsibility. However, don't tell me that in the heavenly battlefield, we have to hold back and endure. If we can't display our strength and talent, we won't be able to become experts for the rest of our lives." Everyone was silent. On one hand, it was related to the situation of the human race. On the other hand, the human race wasn't powerful enough and couldn't suppress the heavens. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so much trouble. The great Qin king, who had not spoken all this while, at this moment, he said sternly, "All right, shut up. We will think of a way to deal with Su Yu's matter later. Let's not talk about Su Yu now." On the side of ancient Starred City, close to the Starred Palace, there was a new city lord. His position was still very important. On the human side, can we think of a way to send people in and fight for a city lord? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1922 1922 Chapter 427 Battle of the City Lord 5. There was a smile on Invincible's face as he said, "Yes, I recommend Niu Baidao. Let him go. Isn't he nearby? He's not young anymore. He's been stuck in the 7th layer of the sun and moon for many years. It's not a loss to let him go and try to become a resident. He's also the most suitable candidate. The rest of the people are either not injured or don't have much life left. After the conversion, they'll probably become undead. Niu Baidao seems to be in good health." At this point, in the crowd, the Darming King said calmly, "Do you still remember how Niu Baidao slapped you in the past? How many years has it been?" "It's been more than 400 years. At that time, you hadn't become eternal yet. Niu Baidao slapped you in the face. You've remembered it for so many years. You're really shameless. Darming King, this is a little hurtful. Niu Baidao and I have resolved our grudges long ago. Otherwise, how could he have lived until now? I'm serious. He's the most suitable for the human realm. He's healthy and his strength isn't too strong, but he's not too weak either. He's old and his potential is limited. Do you think there's anyone more suitable than him for the sun and moon of the human realm? Darming King thought for a moment. No. Niu Bendao was indeed the most suitable. The key point was that that fellow wasn't at the 7th level of the sun and moon realm. If he really was at the 7th level of the sun and moon realm, it would actually be quite suitable. The others thought for a moment, and it seemed to be quite suitable. Why don't we let Niu Baidao give it a try? That's right. That fellow has played and enjoyed himself. He has eaten, drank, slept, who is more comfortable than him? He has enjoyed everything that he should have. Let him give it a try. When he is about to die, he can become a city lord. He can be considered an overlord of a region and experience the feeling of being invincible. His life is much more comfortable than ours. That's right. We are also responsible for guarding the border. That fellow is actually keeping a turtle in the human realm. The group of invincible laughed as they said and calculated. Needless to say, Niu Baidao was really quite suitable. As for Su Yu, they did not think about it and did not count on him. Su Yu's strength was too low and he had become the city lord. There was not much use for him. He could only hide in the city lord's mansion and never open the door. Then, there was no difference between a city lord like him and a city lord. The Daming King was also speechless. Was Old Bull being targeted? Needless to say, he really had no way to refute. Old Bull was really suitable. He was old again, and he had finished enjoying himself. His strength wasn't bad, and he was just nearby. Who else could he look for if not him? Just as he was thinking about how to refute, his heart suddenly moved and he looked into the distance. It wasn't just him. All the invincible kings quickly looked over. Old Niu is back. In the distant void, a figure appeared and quickly rushed over. He also saw the incomparably powerful figures in the void and laughed, "Greetings, unrivaled kings." The great Qin king looked at him and said indifferently, "You're back. You brought back 200 heaven and earth mystic lights." "I brought them back." Niu Bendao said casually and said with a smile, "So you said that he gave them to me. That's all." Silence. Had Su Yu said that before? Alright, since the item was in his hands, Invincible did not say anything. Niu Bendao did not care about this and quickly said, "On my way back, I heard that Su Yu killed Black Demon again. That's really awesome." Niu Bendao laughed and quickly said, "Also, Black Demon is dead, and the City Lord is gone. The humans are probably interested in getting a City Lord to gain some advantage, right?" As he said this, he mocked himself, "Am I the most suitable? My strength is not good, and I'm already old. I eat, drink, and have fun every day. I also have a grudge with the De Yuan King, so I slapped him back then." Niu Baidao. Among the powerful figures, an invincible figure said, "Do you really have to find trouble?" Niu Baidao smiled and said, "No, the De Yuan King forgives me. I'm just reminiscing about the past. Thinking about how all of you are invincible now, and I'm still so down and out, I can't help but think of some of the extraordinary past years." Sigh. He sighed and very quickly. Niu Bendao smiled and said, "However, I'll pass. I recommend Zhou Potian from the Great Zhou Manor to go over. He's not young anymore. Although he's the manor head, he doesn't seem to have 3 incarnations. He's already so old. Go be a city lord." As soon as he finished speaking, Niu Bendao chuckled. In the endless void, another Niu Bendao suddenly walked out and instantly fused with him. At this moment, Niu Bendao's aura was astonishingly powerful. The unrivaled experts looked at him. Some were shocked, some were silent, and some seemed to have expected this and didn't say anything. Niu Bidao laughed and said, "Everyone, I'm a step behind, but aren't I still chasing after him? I'm young and strong, so forget it. I can't be the city lord anymore." The great Qin king looked at him and didn't say anything. He thought for a moment and said, "Future body." "No, past body." Niu Bidao sighed and said, "If it was the future body, I would have beaten the great Yuan king up right now. He wouldn't dare to kill me. Unfortunately, it's the past body, so the increase in strength is limited. The current body was the current strength of the 3 incarnations. In the past, some were strong and some were weak, but they usually didn't surpass the current body. Only the future body could be very strong or very weak. It could be when the future was weak, or when the future was old, and everything was possible. However, if one could capture the most powerful moment in the future, or even the moment of invincibility, then one could suddenly erupt with invincible battle strength. This was quasi-invincibility. It was a very special state. Some were quasi-invincibility, and some were frighteningly strong. Some were only slightly stronger than ordinary 9th-level sun-moon cultivators. The great Qin king nodded. "The past body is actually very good. Fusing with the past body first is the orthodox way to attain Tao. Fusing with the future body may be very powerful, but it can also be very weak. Moreover, it's easy for someone to break the past body." After saying this, he looked at him again and said, "You've been hiding all this time. Why aren't you hiding today?" Niu Bidao smiled and said, "The great Yuan king wants me to become the ancient city's undead, so of course I won't do it." The De Yuan king said calmly, "If you don't show your strength, you must hide it. You're not a good person." Niu Bidao continued to smile and said, "There's a difference between these words. It's not the time for the final battle yet. It's useless even if I reveal my strength. After all, I'm not even invincible." The De Yuan king couldn't be bothered. The great Qin king thought for a while and said, "Let's discuss this matter again. The ancient city of Xinghong is still sealed. Perhaps before we can intervene, the residents in the city have already seized the city lord token and become the city lord." The invincible experts did not say anything else. The great Qin king was right, there was not much hope for them to pick up the pieces. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1923. 1923 Chapter 428 Killing the Sun and Moon 1. Ancient City of Xinghong. Su Yu walked out of the ancient house. When the aura of death dissipated, he knew that the undead had probably left. As for Su Yu himself, he had also eliminated about 30% of the aura of death. He seemed to be in good condition. He took off his mask. He no longer needed a mask. He was now Su Yu. Walking towards the place where Black Devil had fallen, Su Yu was a little cautious, but he wasn't that afraid. Now, there were many residents in the ancient city. This time, there were probably some residents who would be tempted, but how many Sun-Moon Realm warriors were there? Su Yu's body was now 49. The explosive strength of his body exceeded 190,000 apertures, and his physical defense was even stronger. When he was 36, a layer of defensive barrier had appeared around his body. It was formed naturally, which meant that his physical defense exceeded 200,000 apertures. Weaklings were unable to break through his physical body at all. Furthermore, he could open his young aperture, devour the essence blood of the sun and moon, and even use divine runes to increase his strength. Su Yu's overall strength was much stronger than outsiders had imagined. Furthermore, his 144 essence apertures, which were related to the heaven-cleaving saber, seemed to be about to complete the first transformation. The first transformation of Yuan Qi. If it was completed, the strength of these 144 apertures would be even stronger, much stronger. Su Yu did not know how much of an increase it would be after a single change. However, it would definitely be much stronger. Now that Black Devil was dead, Su Yu did not have much fear. Not to mention how many Sun-Moon Realm residents there were in the city, even if there were, after so many days, these people were forced to hide in the ancient houses. They were probably invaded by the aura of death. It was hard to say how much combat power they could unleash. Walking on the street, Su Yu looked around. There were still some dead spirits. Other than the 3 quasi-invincible dead spirits who had left, the other dead spirits were all here. Moreover, there was also a Sun-Moon dead spirit. This was also the key to the continued closure of the city gate. Su Yu was not far from the place where Black Devil died. Soon, he arrived. And in front of him, there were also people who had arrived. At this moment, Su Yu was not the only one who was bold. It was an expert in human form. The aura of the sun and moon pervaded the air. When he saw Su Yu, his expression changed slightly, and he said in a low voice, "You are Su Yu?" "Yes." Su Yu saw 2 things on the ground. One was a storage ring, and the other was a black token. When the sun and moon saw Su Yu, their eyes were vigilant as they said, "Su Yu, your strength is slightly weaker. Even if you obtain the City Lord token, you probably won't be able to refine it. I'm afraid that the City Lord token will trigger the aura of death. The City Lord token belongs to me. I'll give the storage ring to you. How about it?" He was only a Sun Yu, but he was discussing with Su Yu. Because he was afraid. He was really afraid. Su Yu only had Ling Yun's strength, but if you thought he was Ling Yun, then you were really stupid. Su Yu looked at him and said after a long while, "It's all mine. I was the one who killed Black Devil. Are you here to pick a peach?" The Sun Yu expert said in a low voice, "Su Yu, you're a genius, but you're also a resident now. The city is sealed. Don't tell me you really think that a Sun-Moon Realm expert can kill you as he pleases." Su Yu said in surprise, "Does this have anything to do with what you want from me? The City Lord token isn't yours." This Sun-Moon expert also had an aura of death on him as he said in a low voice, "This belongs to the ancient city. Su Yu, think carefully. Even if you get the City Lord token, can you block the following attacks? Can you?" Su Yu smiled. "Are you at the 1st or 2nd level of the Sun-Moon realm? Can you block it?" The Sun-Moon expert stared at him and said, "I'm a member of the 1,000 Domain Alliance. If I get this, the 9 world overlords will give me some face. If you can't, once you become a city lord, the other races will come and find trouble with you. Su Yu, if you really want to snatch it from me, it will only make you die faster." "That makes sense." Su Yu nodded and smiled. "But I was the one who killed Black Devil." The Sun-Moon expert looked at him and said deeply, "That's why I won't take the storage ring if I give it to you. If it had been a small clan like Lingyun Mountain and Sea, he would have slapped them to death long ago. However, this was Su Yu. Therefore, he discussed with Su Yu and made some concessions. He could give the storage ring to Su Yu. Black Devil's storage ring might not have anything good in it, because Black Devil also had to cultivate and temper his aura of death. The key was still the City Lord token. At this moment, people faintly arrived in the surroundings. Some residents wanted to take advantage of the situation. Even if they knew that it was very dangerous and that they might encounter some trouble after becoming the City Lord was still better than the ordinary residents. When they saw the 2 people on the street, many people instantly retreated. One was the sun and the moon, and the other was Su Yu. Su Yu, who had caused chaos in the ancient city. And Black Demon was killed by Su Yu. Su Yu asked curiously, "Senior, may I ask, which race are you from? Is sun and moon very strong? How many acupoints can you use? If you're too strong, I know what's good for me and can retreat. But if you're not strong. Suyu said coldly, sun and moon, I've killed more than one. What do you think, senior? The expression of this sun and moon expert changed slightly. Yi Baishan's divine text. He had more. Where did Yi Badian get so many divine texts? How many of them had been dropped? He was actually also afraid of this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have discussed it with Suyu. I'm from the Red Frog race. Suyu was somewhat familiar with it. He remembered that when he was deducing the aperture synthesis technique, he had used the Red Frog race's aperture synthesis technique. This race's aperture synthesis technique wasn't bad, with 22 apertures. This clan's innate skill was also relatively strong. Although this clan was not strong, their innate skill was more concealed. A very special innate skill, called, Shattering the Void. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1924. 1924 Chapter 428 Killing the Sun and the Moon 2. Suyu had tried it once before. It was more concealed and wretched. When his tongue reached into the void, it could suddenly shoot out and kill him in one hit. Thinking of this, Suyu's eyes moved slightly. This guy, could it be that he had already done this to him? Could it be that this guy's tongue had already concealed itself around him? He actually knew this cultivation technique, but it was very disgusting. If he also stuck out his tongue, and then he also stuck out his tongue, and his tongue collided with his tongue, what would that be? Disgusting. Suyu wasn't interested in using this, but after understanding this race's innate technique, cultivation technique, and other things, he had some knowledge. The induction jade continued to probe, and the calamity word divine text also continued to probe. At the same time, he also let little hairy ball sense it. If this fellow dared to stick out his tongue, he would instantly cut off his tongue. He thought. Suyu said again, Senior, the Red Frog race isn't strong. Even if Senior has become the Sun and Moon realm, without a great opportunity, he would only be at the ordinary Sun and Moon realm. I think Senior has a high probability of being at the first level of the Sun and Moon realm, and he is also suppressed by the aura of death. Perhaps he isn't even comparable to the ordinary Sun and Moon realm. Senior, do you really want to snatch the opportunity from me? After saying this, Suyu smiled faintly and said, I don't want to kill. Senior is not worth me shattering a divine text to kill. If Senior is willing, I will become the city lord and allow Senior to become the general of the guards. The Sun and Moon of the Red Frog clan looked at him deeply and said in a low voice, Suyu, do you really still have Yiba's divine text? You don't believe it? The Red Frog did not say anything. He did not quite believe it, but he did not dare to not believe it either. He was also hesitating now. He was also in a difficult position. He didn't want to give up the opportunity that he had obtained. The opportunity to become the overlord of a region. Suyu, on the other hand, was getting impatient. He cursed in his heart. When he was killing Black Devil, he didn't see any of you come out. Now, it was time to pluck the peach. In the dark, there were still some experts hiding. Suyu's perception jade showed that he didn't see the sun and moon. However, how many mountains and seas were hiding? How could the mountains and seas dare to come and snatch it? Of course, the mountains and seas of the powerful clans were not weak either. However, even the mountains and seas of the powerful clans, unless they were top-notch geniuses, would not be able to go against the sun and moon. In Suyu's 144 apertures, saber chi gradually condensed. His young apertures slowly opened. In his mouth, there was a drop of the mountain-breaking ox essence blood. The strength-type divine script began to strengthen his body. The divine script battle technique began to turn into a long saber. The shock-type divine script began to prepare, and his divine apertures were all opened. At this moment, a faint sense of danger emanated from Suyu's body. He looked once again at the Red Frog race's sun and moon. He said coldly, "Senior, retreat. You are a resident of the ancient city. If you count, you are on my side. There are probably not many sun and moon residents in the city. I have prepared a position for you to be the general of the guards. Senior, don't seek your own death." The Red Frog race's sun and moon's expression changed slightly, and they were somewhat hesitant. "Suyu, you don't have the ability to defend the ancient city. Unless you hide in the city lord's mansion for the rest of your life, you will die sooner or later. Suyu, if you grant me my wish, I will." Buzz. In the next moment, a shocking saber light rose. "Grant your ancestor. Grant you your death. No matter how hard you try, it's useless, right? I killed Black Devil. He was almost killed by a quasi-invincible undead. You are only at the first layer of the sun and moon, and you think you can ascend to the sky." When this blade was slashed out, the blade energy soared to the sky. At the same time, a tongue suddenly swept toward the back of Suyu's head from behind Suyu. The sun and moon were not new to the field, they were all old foxes. The Red Frog had long been prepared to shed all pretense of cordiality. However, this blade had the true power of the sun and moon. When it was unleashed, it was even much stronger than the first level of the sun and moon realm. This was because Suyu could unleash the power of the first level of the sun and moon realm just by devouring blood essence, not to mention that he had also opened his yang aperture, he had opened his own strength. When the slash landed, Red Frog's expression changed drastically. He quickly retreated and turned around. Meanwhile, his tongue was still silently charging toward the back of Suyu's head. He wanted to pierce through Suyu's head. Without a head, could you still survive? At this moment, a large hammer suddenly appeared in Suyu's right hand while his left hand was holding the knife. With a boom, his left hand swung backward. The hammer was mixed with lightning, fire, and blood. The hammer struck down and shook the surroundings. The hammer fell before the knife. With a rumble, a clanging sound was heard. The tongue that was stuck out in the air was shaken by Suyu until it was dripping with blood. "Ah!" The Red Frog cried out in pain. A flame followed the tongue in the air and instantly burned the Red Frog. The air was filled with the smell of meat. In the next moment, the Red Frog let out a violent roar. One of its tongues was directly bitten off by him. The flame stopped abruptly and stopped before his mouth. With a bang, a huge tongue was roasted and fell to the ground. The Red Frog instantly turned into its original form. An incomparably huge Red Frog instantly jumped up and fled into the distance. Fear. It was truly fear. Suyu did not know if the divine text had exploded, but he only knew that the current Suyu actually possessed the power of the sun and the moon. At that moment, there was a rumble. The blade light pierced through the void. With a slash, an unfathomable blade mark appeared on the Red Frog's huge back. Large amounts of blood splattered, and its bones were shattered. "Spare me!" The Red Frog let out a shrill cry, and then it roared, "Stop fighting, or else you'll die if I go all out." A crescent moon appeared. The Red Frog revealed the crescent moon and instantly charged toward Suyu. Its aura was extremely powerful. It was not to kill Suyu, but to hold Suyu back and not give him the chance to continue chasing. Suyu frowned slightly and said indifferently, "The sun and moon are so weak." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1925. 1925 Chapter 428 Killing the Sun and Moon 3. It was so weak that it was pitiful. It was true. He sensed it and felt that the Red Frog's full strength had reached 300,000 apertures. Of course, Suyu had never killed the sun and moon of the weak race. Therefore, he was not too clear about how strong they were. However, he knew now. Perhaps it was because of the suppression of the death aura, the red frog's explosive strength was much weaker than Suyu had expected. It was just that it had a bit more intelligence than the undead. It knew how to run and how to scheme. Even if Suyu did not use his blood essence, it was still more than the explosive strength of 200,000 apertures. At this moment, it had even devoured the mountain-breaking bull's blood essence. The mountain-breaking bull clan could be considered one of the top 100 races. A level 1 mountain-breaking bull was much more powerful than the red frog. Suyu did not delay any longer. His figure instantly disappeared, turning into an illusory figure. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from where he was. The fleeing red frog had not run far when it suddenly stopped. It instantly retreated and frantically fled backward. Whine! Another slash landed. At the same time, a cage descended from the sky, the 5 elements purgatory. It instantly enveloped the red frog. The red frog let out a furious roar and stomped down, destroying the entire cage. After all, it was the sun and moon, and Suyu's willpower wasn't that strong. Trapping the mountains and seas was fine, but trapping him was a bit difficult. The red frog kicked open the cage, and just as it was about to escape, its vision blurred. Not too far away, a sun and moon pinnacle undead spirit appeared. Its aura was incomparably powerful, and the red frog's expression changed drastically. In the next moment, it was in a daze. No, it wasn't real. It was an illusion. Right, an illusion. Yuan Qi soared into the sky. An aperture appeared. It was his sun and moon aperture, but it wasn't real. It was an illusion. In a battle with a civilized master, one had to be careful of these methods. Boom! The illusion was shattered, and at this moment, the saber descended with a rumbling sound. The red frog let out a blood-curdling scream once more. Just a moment ago, its back had been slashed, but now, one of its hind legs had been severed. Suyu! A mournful roar sounded. At this moment, Suyu's origin aperture suddenly twisted and transformed into an undead spirit. He punched out, and this punch was filled with the aura of death. He had once devoured the blood essence of an undead spirit. With a punch, there was a rumbling sound. It was extremely powerful and instantly sent the red frog flying. The red frog's expression changed drastically. This punch's lethality was not as great as the saber chi. However, with this punch, the aura of death on the red frog's body suddenly became stronger. Suyu turned into an undead spirit at an extremely fast speed. Rumble. Punch after punch, saber after saber, with the aura of death. In the blink of an eye, the red frog roared. With a hong-long sound, its body was completely blasted apart. Its sea of will appeared, floating in the air like an ocean. However, in the next moment, an intense aura of death instantly surged in. With a hong-long sound, the ocean was destroyed. It collapsed. Suyu's face was indifferent. He returned to his human form once again. He looked around and said coldly, "Everyone, go back to your rooms. Otherwise, you can come and try." At this moment, a sun and moon undead spirit appeared in the sky. A sun and moon had fallen. In the next moment, a huge cloud descended. That was the reward for killing a first-level sun and moon. This time, the reward was much more than before. It was really much more terrifying. This was because Suyu had really relied on himself to kill the other party. Of course, it was partly because he had borrowed the death aura from the red frog's body. However, this time, Suyu had practically crushed the red frog and killed the sun and moon. In the surroundings, some experts instantly fled. Horrifying. It was so simple to counter the sun and moon. The red frog race's sun and moon didn't resist much. First, their tongues were cut off by Suyu, then they were heavily injured with the heaven-cleaving knife, and then they were beaten to death by Suyu. Suyu had many tricks up his sleeves. The divine runes shook and turned into a dead spirit, the heaven-cleaving knife technique, the 5 elements purgatory, and the illusory realm. After being worn down time and time again, the red frog was finally killed with the help of the aura of death. There were no bones left. In such a state, the red frog was unable to turn into a dead spirit. As for whether there were other ways to turn it, Suyu did not know. However, this time, he did not see any dead spirits coming to receive it. Clearly, his body and sea of will had been destroyed. There might be some problems with the transformation. There were a lot of rewards from heaven and earth. A large amount of willpower poured into Suyu's body and into his sea of consciousness. This time, the reward for killing the sun and moon alone was willpower. It was very pure, which made Suyu somewhat happy. Meanwhile, little hairy ball was also secretly absorbing it. Suyu didn't care too much about it. There were a lot, so he just absorbed it. He was also absorbing it. Below, the city lord token and storage ring were all there, including some pieces of the red frog's corpse and some miscellaneous items. Suyu didn't care about them. He floated in the air, his aura powerful as he continued to absorb the willpower. Some residents opened the ancient house and secretly looked at Suyu, but they didn't dare to speak. Suyu. Those people were shocked. He really went against the sun and moon, and did it right in front of their eyes. He was already an overlord of a region. Even if there were still sun and moon residents in the city, they didn't dare to show their faces. They weren't sure if this was Suyu's full strength, and they weren't sure if Suyu had exploded Yi Baishan's divine text. They didn't feel the strong power of the divine text just now, but Suyu's physical strength was terrifyingly strong. Innate blood essence. Some people knew that the humans were studying this. Suyu's body also exploded with some aura that belonged to the mountain-breaking ox clan. Could it be innate blood essence? Innate blood essence at the sun and moon realm? This was possible. If that was the case, did Suyu have more tricks waiting for them? Was Suyu not leaving now to lure them to their deaths? To lure the sun and moon in the city? As expected, those who came from the great Xia mansion were devils, killing devils. Just like Xia Longwu, no, even more ferocious than Xia Longwu. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1926. 1926 Chapter 428 Killing the Sun and Moon 4. At this moment, the outside world once again saw a crescent moon crashing down. It wasn't very big. It looked like the sun and moon had died, but they weren't very strong. It was possible that they were at the first level of the sun and moon. Who knew when it had become so common for the sun and moon to fall down? Before that, the news of the sun and moon dying would spread throughout the celestial battlefield. Humans and fiend gods had fought for decades, and not many sun and moon had died. It would be considered pretty good if a sun and moon died every 3 to 5 years. But this year, in less than 2 months, dozens of sun and moon had died, and even the 9th level of the sun and moon had died. Has there been any news from the heaven hunting pavilion? Who died? Are they fighting for the city lord token? Who killed them? Who won? The people outside the ancient city were all curious and interested. They knew that a battle would break out in the city because of the city lord token. There would definitely be a battle between the sun and the moon. They just didn't expect the sun and the moon to die so quickly. This time, the heaven hunting pavilion was a little slow in transmitting the news. After a while, someone said, the heaven hunting pavilion has sent out the news. Nar of the Red Frog clan is dead. He wasn't killed by the other residents, but by Suyu. Suyu swallowed the sun-moon innate talent blood essence and killed the red frog. Now, no one in the city dares to compete with him. Suyu. Upon hearing this name, the entire outer area of the ancient city instantly fell silent. It was this kid again. This guy had already turned into a living dead. Could he stop? He wants to become the city lord. That's not the point. Everyone, the point is that he will extract the blood essence of his innate talent, the Sun-Moon realm. Someone said in shock, are you for real? Didn't they say that the blood essence of the human race is only at the Lingyun realm? How did the Sun-Moon realm appear? Nonsense, Su Yu is a genius and a master in the research field. Perhaps he developed it himself. Have you all forgotten how many cultivation techniques he has deduced in the human realm? Regardless of whether there is an invincible relic or not, it means that his innate talent is outstanding. On this path, he has great potential. Terrifying. It is indeed terrifying. Fortunately, he has become a resident. Some people secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He was destined to die. Otherwise, a figure like Su Yu would really be too terrifying. The news quickly spread once again. The battle for the ancient city's city lord had begun. Su Yu had forcefully killed the Sun and Moon of the Red Frog clan. Currently, no one in the city dared to fight for the city lord's position. It was very likely that the city lord's position would fall into Su Yu's hands. This news was also shocking to the heavens. Could it be that Su Yu was going to become the first Lingyun realm ancient city lord in the 10,000 worlds? This news quickly spread throughout the various worlds. Human realm. Zhu Tiandao instantly crushed the chair. He was speechless for a long while. F***CK. The city lord of the ancient city. When you went out, you were as weak as an ant. Then, not long after, you killed the 9th level Sun and Moon realm. Now, you're actually going to become the city lord of the ancient city? The Great Xia Mansion. Wan Tiansheng took a casual glance and didn't take it seriously. He was calm now, and he could just pretend that he didn't know. Lingyun killed mountains and seas, that was all he remembered. Su Yu was still Lingyun, which meant that he still had a chance to appear. If it wasn't Lingyun, then he must have been mistaken. He was just thinking, even if this fellow became the city master, what could he do? Could he still bring the ancient city with him? If he didn't bring the ancient city with him, Su Yu would still be Su Yu. If he met the Sun and Moon, he would still be invincible, but he would still be in danger. Red Frog Clan, a weak race, first level Sun and Moon. Muttering, innate blood essence. This fellow was able to devour the Sun and Moon blood essence. That meant that his physical strength was also terrifyingly strong. How far had he reached? Otherwise, even if he had the essence blood of the Sun and Moon, he would still have to be able to consume it. Most mountains and seas wouldn't be able to do that. This fellow's physical strength might have reached the level of the mountains and seas. Terrifying. Only the heaven hunting list didn't have a name. Otherwise, if this fellow were to kill the Sun and Moon now, then perhaps his ranking, fine, there was no way he would be able to rise. He had previously been number 1 on the heaven hunting list. Calm down. As long as he got used to it, the 10,000 heavenly saints no longer cared about it. After thinking for a moment, suddenly, he sent a voice transmission somewhere. Hong Tan, your grand disciple, Su Yu, just killed another Sun and Moon in the heavenly battlefield. Now, he's trying to become the master of the ancient city. Right, do you know the master of the ancient city, Black Demon? Hong Tan, are you happy that you were killed by him? At this moment, in the newly opened polytheistic college, Hong Tan was writing something when the pen in his hand instantly shattered. Teacher. Beside him, Baifeng was playing with something when he saw that his teacher had broken the pen. He couldn't help but laugh. Teacher, are you stunned too? I didn't expect that I would recover to the 9th level of the soaring heavens realm so quickly. Teacher, I'm going to enter Lingyun very soon. Ha ha ha. Happy. I'm finally going to enter Lingyun. It's too tragic. From the drop in my realm last year until now, I've finally recovered to a peak. Very soon, I'll be entering Lingyun realm. It won't be long before he, Bai Feng, is also a genius of Ling Yun realm. Ha ha ha. I'm in such a good mood. Hong Tan looked at him with a strange expression. The news of the celestial battlefield actually spread very quickly. However, most people did not know about it and did not have the means to do so. But at this moment, he knew. Hong Tan looked at Bai Feng, paused, and said, "Not bad, you have reached the 9th level of the soaring heavens realm. Within 3 months, you will definitely step into Ling Yun." "Not bad." Bai Feng nodded and smiled. "Not bad. Not bad." Hong Tan thought for a moment and said, "Do you know how strong the sun and moon are?" "I don't know, about slapping me to death." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1927. 1927 Chapter 428 Killing the Sun and Moon 5. Bai Feng shrugged and said with a smile, "Don't worry, Master. I won't be proud. You are the sun and moon. You can kill me with one slap." "I understand." Hong Tan hesitated for a moment and said, "Do you know where your disciple is now?" "You mean Su Yu? Didn't he pretend to be Cui Lang and went to the heavenly battlefield? Did he come back?" The news of the celestial battlefield really couldn't reach Bai Feng. His source of information was only Hong Tan. Hong Tan hadn't told him before. At this moment, seeing Bai Feng's excitement, Hong Tan thought for a moment and said, "A month ago, on June 21st, Su Yu entered the celestial battlefield. Did you know?" "Oh." Bai Feng didn't care too much. It was August 15th now. It had been almost 2 months since Su Yu entered. Did he cause trouble? Yes. Hong Tan said calmly, "It's not a big deal. He just killed more than 20 Sun-Moon realm warriors in the ancient city of Heaven Destruction, 6 of whom were in the late stage of the Sun-Moon realm. Then, a few days ago, he went to the Sea of Stars and killed another 9 Sun-Moon realm warriors, 1 of whom was in the late stage of the Sun-Moon realm. Then, this morning, he killed the city lord of the ancient city of Xinghong, Black Demon, who was in the 9th stage of the Sun-Moon realm. Oh, right, he just killed another minor figure who was in the 1st stage of the Sun-Moon realm. It's nothing. In total, he only killed more than 30 Sun and Moon realm cultivators and more than 10 geniuses on the heaven hunting list. There were only 12 invincible. No, 2 of them were from the human race. Only 10 of them were invincible and failed to kill him." He raised his head and looked at Bai Feng, who had his mouth wide open. He smiled faintly and said, "Good disciple, you're not bad. You're about to enter Ling Yun. Congratulations. Oh right, I forgot to mention that he might become the weakest ancient city lord in history, the overlord of a region." Bai Feng's mouth was still wide open. What did he mean? What was going on? What were you saying? I don't understand. Was his teacher wrong to mistake the sun and moon for the sky? He swallowed his saliva and laughed dryly. "Teacher, Su Yu killed more than 30 sky ascenders, right? Sun and moon. Sky ascenders, teacher, right?" Bai Feng repeated again. "This is my final stubbornness. You must be wrong. Right." Hong Tan looked at him sympathetically. Bai Feng couldn't take it anymore and couldn't help but explode. "Teacher, are you very happy? You are only at the 1st layer of the sun and moon. Only. What's the use of you provoking me? You're only at the 1st level of the sun and moon." Hong Tan ignored him. This father knew that he had already been provoked and was used to it. Soon, he hesitated for a moment and said, he might be dying soon. He turned into an ancient city resident himself. Bai Feng was stunned. At this moment, he suddenly lost his smile. Just now, he was shocked, in disbelief, and a little proud. Isn't my disciple awesome? But at this moment, he was suddenly stunned. After a long while, he said with difficulty, he became a resident of the ancient city. He had been to the heavenly battlefield and knew what the ancient city was like. Under normal circumstances, the residents of the ancient city would not live long. Hong Tan said calmly, yes, otherwise, he would have been killed by the invincible. Previously, when the 10 invincible experts surrounded and killed him, only the great Xia King and the great Ming King were able to pass through. They could not stop them at all. Su Yu had no choice but to choose this path. Moreover, he was personally transformed by an invincible expert from the dead spirit world. There is no turning back, unless the sovereign of the dead spirit dies. Bai Feng's mouth twitched, he laughed dryly. It's fine, it's fine. This kid, let me tell you. He has many tricks up his sleeve. He has too many tricks up his sleeve. He still has great opportunities and great luck. Teacher, he's fine. You thought he would die, but he won't. Hong Tan fell silent. He did not say anything else and continued to lower his head to write something. His voice was a little bleak as he said, go back and cultivate. After his death, I'm afraid that the many divine languages will really destroy the inheritance. It's fine. If it's broken, so be it. If you insist on following me, I can't give you anything, nor can I help you. From now on, the lineage of the multi-god literature, just let him become history. Teacher, I can't accept this. Bai Feng's eyes suddenly turned red. This idiot, why did he go to the celestial battlefield? Is he sick? At the human realm, at least he won't provoke invincible. Invincible? Hong Tan said indifferently, with his personality, it's only a matter of time. Maybe, you made the wrong choice in the beginning and shouldn't have taken him in. You were so happy, so proud, and now, you regret it so much. Everything originated from that trip to the southern Yuan. Su Yu, who had not joined the divine literature department, would probably not have what he had today and become the common enemy of all the races. Bai Feng gritted his teeth. I want to see him one last time. Even if you can't go, there's no one to protect you. Hong Tan lowered his head. Don't think about it anymore. Just wait. Wait for your senior uncle to return. It's time for our lineage to blossom into its final glory. Teacher, he's too young. Bai Feng muttered, he's only 19 years old. Teacher, his life is too short. He shouldn't be like this. Hong Tan fell silent. Lowering his head, a pen appeared in his hand once more. The pen from before had already been shattered, and when it appeared again, it was shattered again. Hong Tan was a little frustrated. He sent Bai Feng flying with a palm. I know that he's young. But I am powerless. At this moment, the Sun-Moon realm me is unable to change anything at all. Only this opportunity can wipe out everything. Perhaps I can give Su Yu a little chance to make mankind invincible to save him. I can only wait for this chance. Hong Tan muttered, I'm sorry, I really can't do anything. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1928. 1928 Chapter 429 Official Succession 1. Rumble. The Sea of Will shook. In the ancient city, Su Yu had gained too much willpower this time. After absorbing it, his willpower went from level 7 to level 9 of Lingyun. As for Su Yu, he began to forge this time. He could not improve any further. Of course, it was actually very difficult for him to improve to mountain and sea. Previously, he had consumed the sun-moon mysterious yellow liquid, and his divine aperture had become much stronger. Under such circumstances, he had almost no hope of closing his aperture. Su Yu didn't care too much. If there was no hope, then so be it. Who cared? Every little bit counted. The god-expanding hammer struck again. Very quickly, his sea of consciousness grew larger, and some impurities in his willpower were hammered out. Suyu continued hammering until his willpower reached the 8th level of Lingyun. Only then did he continue to absorb some of his sea of consciousness. Very quickly, he reached the 9th level again. He hammered again. After 2 or 3 times, he had completely used up all the power of will. This time, little hairy ball was also full. He started to sleep on the divine text. Suyu didn't know if he was really sleeping or if he was about to transform. He didn't care about how many good things this guy had eaten with him ever since he entered Lingyun. He didn't know when he would be able to enter the mountain sea realm. Suyu hovered in the air and glanced around. Seeing that no one was looking after him, he smiled and kept the storage ring and the city lord token. Apart from that, there were other things. One was the red frog's storage ring, and the other was the red frog's big tongue. It was the roasted type. As for the corpse, it was torn apart by Suyu. If he extracted it, he might be able to gather a drop of first-level sun and moon blood essence. However, Suyu was too lazy to bother with it. It was scattered everywhere, and many undead were corrupting the blood essence. He also had to chase away the dead souls. It was too troublesome. It was just a drop of the first level of the sun and moon blood essence. He did not want it. He was rich and willful. The main reason was that it was too troublesome. There was too much blood spilled. Black Devil was dead, the Red Frog was dead, and the city was quiet. However, Suyu did not care about these things. He quickly said in a clear voice, "From now on, Suyu, am the city lord of this ancient city. It doesn't matter whether you are convinced or not. In this ancient city, my words are the truth. Black Devil and the others don't dare to kill people. They are afraid of the undead looking for trouble. I'm not afraid. As you can see, I killed the sun and moon of the Red Frog clan. The sun and moon undead didn't look for trouble with me at all. If you kill me, be careful that the sovereign of the undead will kill you. And if I kill you, I don't need to pay anything." Suyu said coldly, "Since you have become residents of the ancient city, don't think too much. I don't know if the residents of the ancient city can go from this ancient city to other ancient cities. If you can leave if you want to. If you can't, then just accept your fate. Don't think about overturning the sky before I die." At this moment, an ancient house opened. Someone whispered, "Lord Su, I'm a human. You're in charge of the ancient city. Do you still need to recruit guards?" Suyu's eyes lit up. He looked in that direction. It was a cultivator at the Lingyun realm. Suyu swept his gaze over. He didn't ask if he had committed a crime and hid here. He said indifferently, "Maybe I will. It's hard to say now. I'll first refine the city lord token. If I can't refine it, or if I die from the backlash, everyone can be happy. If I really become the city lord of the ancient city, everyone be prepared. Very soon, I'll adjust everything in the entire ancient city." Another ancient house opened, and a powerful demon stuck his head out and said, "City Lord Su, my demon race and your human race are constantly fighting. If you become the city lord of the ancient city, will you target my demon race?" Suyu said indifferently, "It doesn't matter if you're obedient. If you're disobedient, whether it's the demon race or the human race, they can only die." When the demon heard this, he didn't say anything else. Clearly, Suyu didn't have any distinction between humans and demons in his heart. In other words, he loathed the demon race and didn't have a good impression of the human race. This had nothing to do with them, as long as they didn't deliberately target them. Who wouldn't be the city lord? Moreover, how many days could Suyu be the city lord? Unless he sealed the city gate for the rest of his life. Suyu ignored them and quickly entered the city lord's mansion. The gate of the city lord's mansion instantly closed. In the huge city lord's mansion, there was no one alive other than Suyu. The first thing Su Yu had to do was to inspect the place to see if there were any hidden people inside. Soon, he went to the back hall. In the back hall, there was a stone statue. It was different from the stone statue of Heaven Destruction City. The stone statue of Heaven Destruction City had the appearance of a giant, a human, and a tail. However, this stone statue did not have the appearance of a human, but of a sea beast. The reason why it was called a sea beast was because there seemed to be some scales on the body of the stone statue. It was also in the shape of a human, but its head was a little sharp. Su Yu greets you, sir. This time, Su Yu was much more respectful. He bowed to the stone statue, looking like he was well educated and reasonable. At this moment, he changed into a clean white robe. The aura of death was suppressed by him, and his face turned slightly pale. With a faint smile on his face, he looked like a spring breeze. He was a civilized master. A refined civilized master would have to pay attention to his image when greeting an expert. It wasn't strange for him to be courteous to others. Even if the sculpture was like a dead object, not moving at all. This wasn't important. He had to be respectful. This sculpture was alive, capable of killing people, and capable of fighting an invincible opponent. It was very terrifying. In this ancient city, the stone sculpture was the boss. His second, fine, he could be the second and third brother of the undead sovereign. In any case, these two didn't usually appear, nor did they fight. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1929. 1929 Chapter 429 Official Succession 2. Su Yu thought in his heart and quickly restrained his emotions. Very quickly, he softly said, I once saw a senior in the ancient city of Heaven Destruction, and he was in the same state as senior. I wonder if senior and that senior in the ancient city of Heaven Destruction have any friendship or enmity. He glanced at the stone sculpture, but the stone sculpture still had its eyes closed. Su Yu carefully said, I got along very well with that senior. That senior also taught me the breathing technique, taught me the vibration technique, and gave me 3 shuttle talismans. I am very grateful. I hope that senior and I can get along so well. If senior has any orders, please let me know at any time. I will do my best. The stone statue closed its eyes. Did you get along well with Tianmie? He didn't know the exact process, but he knew that Su Yu did seem to know the breathing technique, even though it was just a scratch. Could it be that Tianmie Zhen had taught him? The stone statue was actually a little surprised. Forget it, forget it. Who cares? Was Su Yu trying to get close to him? No need. I'm the executor of the rules. There's no need to get close to me. If I comply with the rules, he won't interfere. Otherwise, he would have interfered long ago. Su Yu waited for a moment, but the stone sculpture didn't reply. Su Yu didn't know if he couldn't reply or what, but he didn't care. Very quickly, he respectfully said, Senior, then I'll go refine the City Lord token first. If Senior has any orders, feel free to call me. After saying this, Su Yu slowly retreated. This time, he didn't smash it. Although he really wanted to try. Forget it, if he really provoked this person, he would be killed with a single punch. There was no way to reason with him. Returning to the front hall of the City Lord Manor. Su Yu took out the City Lord token. It was pitch black, and nothing could be seen. Refine this thing. Su Yu knew how to refine it, and very quickly, he began to devour the City Lord token with his willpower. At this moment, a powerful aura of death seeped out from the City Lord token. Su Yu's body shook. It was the aura of death again. In the ancient city, everything had the aura of death. How troublesome. If it was a little weaker, this aura of death could instantly kill some of the Lingyun mountains and seas. No wonder the City Lord was not weak. If he was too weak, he would not even be able to refine the City Lord token. Suyu quickly reversed the death aura in his origin aperture. A large amount of death aura poured in, and as the death aura poured in, some information flowed into his consciousness and was captured by Suyu. City Lord Token. Control the ancient city. Suyu carefully experienced and felt it. Ancient city, no, or rather, sacred city. This was the sacred city of Xinghong. It had existed since ancient times. There was no record of who had founded it and how long it had existed. However, Suyu did know some things. The purpose of the sacred city was to suppress the passage of the realm of the dead to prevent the spread of the aura of death. This was the purpose of the existence of the 36 sacred cities. As the city lord, Suyu had responsibilities, obligations, and rights. As his level of refinement deepened, the information he obtained gradually increased. The city lord had a lot of rights. For example, he could open most of the ancient houses. Except for a few places that might have been the residence of top-tier experts in the past, he might not be able to open the rest. Of course, if he forcefully broke the houses, he would suffer a certain backlash. The backlash came from the aura of death in the ancient houses. Opening the ancient houses was one thing. Secondly, he could forcefully close the city gates or open them. This had almost happened in the ancient city of Heaven Destruction. The black armored race wanted to find the general of the Heaven's Gate to forcibly close the gates. However, as long as it was forcefully opened or closed, there would be a backlash. The price of the backlash was the deepening of the aura of death, which would cause the city lord to die faster. Therefore, under normal circumstances, they would not forcefully do so. The losses were too great, and the gains would not make up for the losses. Thirdly, it was said that the city lord could be invincible in the city if he was at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Suyu had not experienced it before with Black Devil, so he did not feel it. However, this time, he did understand something. At the critical moment, the City Lord could use the City Lord token to communicate with the dead spirit world and obtain the same strength of the combined dead spirit, which was equivalent to fusing with a new body. It was a bit of an exaggeration to say that he could be on par with Invincible. However, if the City Lord fused with a new body, communicated with the dead spirit world, and fused with a new body, there was indeed a little hope that he could fight with Invincible. This was the legendary secret of the City Lord being able to fight against Invincible. Of course, if you really fought with Invincible in the ancient city, there was a high probability that you wouldn't need to fight anymore. There would be undead monarchs or even stone sculptures that would personally fight. Under normal circumstances, it would be fine as long as you could deal with some quasi-invincible ones. In this way, you wouldn't have to worry too much about being killed in the ancient city. Invincible didn't dare to come in. Non-invincible came in. You were at the 9th layer of the Sun-Moon realm and had fused with your first life body. If you were to fight, the other party would kill you without hesitation. If you killed the other party, you didn't have to worry too much. When dealing with invaders, killing them wasn't a big deal. Also, try not to interfere with the operation system of the entire ancient city. This operation system, including the previous situation, such as the undead wanting to kill and the city lord's manor wanting to protect them, didn't conform to the rules. The dead spirits killing and killing the dead spirits were their business. The city lord's mansion could interfere, but they could not be too biased and protect those people. These were rights and obligations. In addition, the city lord had another request. He had to ensure that there were enough residents in the city. These residents would share the death aura for the entire ancient city. If there were not enough residents, the city lord would bear even more death aura. If the master of the ancient city couldn't hold on or died, then the stone sculpture would bear the burden. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1930. 1930 Chapter 429 Official Succession 3. Suyu actually did not know that there was no one in an ancient city. That day at the bottom of the Sea of Stars, he was not far from that ancient city. The stone sculptures in that ancient city were also terrifyingly powerful. They had not been opened for many years, and the aura of death was already extremely powerful. However, it was completely suppressed by that stone sculpture alone. Obviously, speaking of which, that stone sculpture was even stronger than the other stone sculptures. Including the stone statues that had gathered earlier, that stone statue was only a projection of a clone. The main body might still be sleeping. Of course, Suyu did not know at this moment. He did know why some ancient cities did not prohibit outsiders from entering. They did not care about outsiders entering. When they entered, they could live as they pleased. It was most likely to attract enough residents. If there were more residents, they could share some of the aura of death. This way, the other people, or rather, all the residents, would be less affected by the aura of death. Unfortunately, there were too few people who dared to turn into residents unless they really had no other choice. Heaven's Destruction, Yun Shao, and Xing Hong, these three ancient cities did not have many people. It was difficult to recruit them. Black Demon's serious injuries were actually related to the deaths of many residents in the ancient cities, causing him to suffer even more of the aura of death. At this moment, Suyu could not help but curse in his heart. At this moment, he could feel the incomparably powerful death chi continuously attacking him. He finally understood why the city lord was dying so quickly. Waves of death chi continuously attacked him. Sealing the city by himself was actually not a good choice. As time passed, the powerful death chi continuously attacked him. He would soon be completely devoured by the death chi. No wonder the city lord of ancient city sealed the city whenever he had nothing to do. No wonder he didn't charge the Heaven Hunting Pavilion and other organizations. If he charged them, they wouldn't come, and they wouldn't come. As a result, the number of visitors would also decrease. With this decrease, the number of residents would also decrease. Wouldn't that be the end of him? I see. Suyu finally understood some things. In addition, there was another benefit to becoming a city lord. Opening some ancient houses with the city lord token had a chance of obtaining some opportunities. Of course, Suyu had never seen such things before. He didn't take it seriously either. There was also another point. The city lord token had some effects on the ancient city token as well as some special tokens. For example, the city gate token, the warehouse management token, and the guard general token, all had some effects. The biggest effect was to transfer the death chi from the city lord token to them. Before this, Suyu had already felt that the death chi of the guards here was even stronger than the heaven-destroying ancient city. Now he understood. It was Black Devil's doing. In order to prevent himself from being backfired, Black Devil had injected a large amount of death aura into his subordinates and into the guards, causing them to be on the verge of death. In this way, the heavenly river of the ancient city of heaven destruction was considered alright. The death aura of the guards and soldiers under his command was actually not that serious. This was something that the heavenly river was bearing. And these city gate tokens were not without benefits. The level of these city gate tokens was high, and they could enter deeper ancient houses. They could avoid the death aura, and they could control the dead spirits. However, ordinary residents did not have this right. Therefore, they could still recruit some experts. Experts were also willing to be recruited. Another point was that when entering the city, some people would charge a fee. These would all go to the city lord's mansion. The city lord would take a portion of the city lord's mansion, and the rest would be paid to the soldiers. This was also a way for them to maintain their cultivation. Otherwise, the residents wouldn't be able to leave the ancient city for too long. There was also another point. If they brought high-grade tokens out of the city, they could suppress the backlash of the death aura. They weren't like the ordinary residents. If they went out, they might suffer a backlash in a day or two. Black Devil had once ordered his generals to lead the guards out to kill some experts because of these tokens. But now, these tokens were all in the city lord's manor. These things wouldn't be taken away. He could give them to some people and not worry about them rebelling. If they dared to rebel, he could just ask if they were afraid of the aura of death. The city lord would transfer a large amount of aura of death to his side and quickly kill the other party. After refining it for a long time, Suyu continued to resist the aura of death and reverse it. The pressure was still okay. But strictly speaking, the speed of the aura of death's invasion was 1/3 faster than before. Suyu could reverse it for an hour before to maintain the balance, but now it would take about an hour and a half. And as the number of experts in the city decreased, the number of residents decreased, and the number of people who shared the aura of death decreased, the speed of the aura of death's invasion would also increase. Because the entire holy city was located on the undead passageway, a large amount of aura of death was constantly spreading out. Only by constantly absorbing and constantly neutralizing the death aura could it be polished off. Therefore, the resident's function was actually to distribute the death aura and wear it down. The residents kept cultivating and constantly making the death aura disappear. This was in line with the stone sculpture's statement that the residents lived to suppress the death aura. The residents kept cultivating and constantly wearing down the death aura was actually to prevent the ancient city from being completely devoured by the death aura. I see. This time, Suyu finally understood that the residents had such a function. To live was to guard. To die was to transform the undead. The ancient city and the undead were not in cahoots. Suyu could feel it this time. However, the two were somewhat related. Perhaps there were some things that he did not understand. In other words, when all the residents are finished, I will have to bear all the aura of death from the undead world. Suyu bared his teeth. F***ck. He couldn't just kill them. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have killed the sun and moon residents. The sun and moon of the red frogs would have been able to share a lot of the death aura.